What's going on, fellow A-plussers? It's your boy Adam Perez. We are back once again with another live episode of A-Plus Hero Report, your weekly stop for your Marvel, DC, television, and movie news streaming live for you guys today. We got 6 incredible topics, one of them being X-Men casting. That's right, we're back at it as we officially have some news in regards to casting for X-Men. We also have some Wonder Man news, not so great, along with some Booster Gold news and plenty more, guys. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of A-Plus Hero Report. It is I, your host, Adam Perez, here with another fantastic episode. Good afternoon, wherever you're certainly watching us from. It is, in fact, noon here in Fort Worth. Not sure exactly where you're watching us from here today. We definitely appreciate you. It is just myself here today. I did get a last-minute notice that Stuart was not going to be available for today's show, so I am here solo dolo. That was definitely not originally the plan, but I am certainly here now. So we're going to go ahead and talk a couple of topics for you guys, some honorable mentions to kick off today's show, and then, of course, your guys' live viewer questions at the end. If you do have any live viewer questions, I did go ahead and make a post over on our YouTube page. So if you want to go ahead and submit a live viewer question over, you certainly have time to do so. Go over to our YouTube channel, click on the post tab, and then voila, there should be a live viewer question post for you guys today. So yeah, we got 6 incredible topics. We are revisiting X-Men, fresh off of San Diego Comic-Con and a couple of casting rumors that we had about maybe 2 weeks ago or so. If anything, we are back to go ahead and talk about it. We have more rumors, but we do have our first official casting. What that means for X-Men going forward and other casting announcements going forward, who knows? But I have a feeling that we might be getting some more here relatively soon. So got some DC talk for you guys, got some Star Wars on the docket here as well. But remember, guys, as we go through all of these topics, at the end of the day, these are simply our A-plus opinions, but we certainly always want to know yours. So let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below. Let me do one thing real quick. I'm going to go off camera real quick. I got to go ahead and turn something off just to make sure that my internet is working properly. But hold on one second for me. Okay. All right, your boy is back. Sorry, I had to go ahead and turn some things off. I got my coffee here to give me this energy that I'm going to need today to carry the show on my back. But as we go through today's show, again, I will be pulling up your live comments. So if you want to be brought onto the show, let your thoughts be heard, feel free to go ahead and throw your thoughts into the chat. Like so. We got Ricky Perez in the house today. He said he saw the official trailer for the upcoming Jumanji movie. It will be arriving in theaters December 26th. You know, I did see that they dropped it. I have not had the opportunity to check out Jumanji Open World yet. If anything, I don't even think I put it on our Facebook page as of yet. So I might have to go ahead and do that. I completely forgot that it was out there. Ricky Perez says TV promo for the Harry Potter film series Weekend Takeover will be premiering on Nickelodeon nighttime block at Nick at Night. Harry Potter's on Nick at Night now? That's interesting. Also, Pixar Toy Story 5 tops $1 billion mark. Yeah, I did see that. Toy Story 5 topped the $1 billion mark. And I believe the Michael Jackson biopic also topped $1 billion. And the Odyssey is relatively close. I think the Odyssey is at like $900 million. So the Odyssey is probably going to break that record too. What else do we got in here? Ricky Perez says finally saw more photos of Tegan Croft as Rapunzel in the live action Tangled. Yeah, I think we posted some set photos a couple of weeks back, like when filming actually began, but I don't think we got a full clear shot of Tegan Croft as Rapunzel. But I might have to look those up after the show and post them on the Facebook page. If you guys are looking for like social media wise, where you can follow us at, I would definitely highly recommend the Facebook page. The Facebook page is very much like our daily aggregator of news. So if you are looking to be kept up throughout the day, our Facebook page is a really great source for that. We constantly keep it up to date on a daily basis, whether that be breaking news, new information that drops, posters, trailers, behind the scenes stuff. We'll definitely keep you posted on our Facebook page. Peg C in the house. What's going on, Peg C? Good to see you. We even got Blossom in here also. Blossom says, I see you're going to mention that Dingus Booster Gold again. Yeah, we're definitely going to talk a little bit Booster Gold here in regards to the upcoming DCU slate, as we do have some interesting things that are happening with that series. Peg C says, I just watched the Street Fighter scene with Ryu and Blanca. Yeah, they did go ahead and put together an edited clip scene of Ryu versus Blanca for the upcoming Street Fighter movie. When does that drop? I think that drops in October, but maybe it's a little sooner than that. I mean, goodness, we're already in August. It's August 2nd today. That's crazy. This year has flown by for me. I like the clip. I have seen some people being a little bit not necessarily feeling it so much, the Blanca stuff, but I kind of dig the vibes. Like I really do appreciate the style that they're going with for the movie itself. He says, I've been enjoying season 2 of X-Men 97. I'm kind of falling off. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of falling off. I didn't care so much about episode 5, the Wolverine episode with him and Morph. Episode 6 was pretty good. Are we on episode 7 now? Episode 6 was pretty good, but I want to rewatch it. Pexy says, my MySpace is making a comeback. Apparently, I did see that. I did see that. We got Hunter in the house. Booster Gold said, he says Booster Gold is not canceled. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. X Punisher, what's up, X Punisher? I hope they give us Mystique and Destiny period drama on Disney Plus. Interesting. I appreciate you coming through, X Punisher. Is this your first time jumping into the show? If so, I appreciate you coming through and giving your thoughts. Feel free to share them throughout the rest of today's episode. Again, it is just myself. Stuart was supposed to be here today, but he gave me a text message maybe like 30 minutes before the show saying that something's come up for him. He's not feeling very well, so he's not going to be able to make it for today's show. So I'm hoping he feels better for tomorrow. Believe it or not, before I get into our honorable mentions, I have still not seen Spider-Man Brand New Day. I truly have not. It's kind of crazy. We've had a lot of stuff kind of going on around the house. We lost one of our dogs this past week. He passed away, kind of passed in I think Wednesday or Thursday. So it's been kind of emotional around the house. Some grieving, if you will, for losing an animal. So the idea of catching a movie in theater has really not even necessarily been on my mind until a little bit yesterday, and realizing man, it's Sunday today. I've been trying to look for some seats in Dolby and a couple of theaters around me. Just high quality movie screens to watch Spider-Man on. All sold out. Doesn't matter the time of day. All sold out. Can't find a single show. Just one seat, maybe. I think there might be an 11 o'clock tonight, maybe a one-seater somewhere. But it's been really hard to try and watch the movie if you didn't get your tickets ahead of time. But this is the one thing I will say. And I think just because of the fact that I feel like I'm the last person that's got an opportunity to watch Spider-Man and not sure when I'm going to get the opportunity to watch Spider-Man. It's times like this where assigned seating drives me crazy. I want to be able to just walk up to the theater, grab a ticket, and boom, ahead of time, sort of thing. Try and fill up the seats before everybody gets there at a certain amount of time. It's times like this when I do wish that we did not have assigned seating, but assigned seating certainly is a blessing. Don't get me wrong. I don't think we're ever going to go back. I mean, it's probably the more organized, civilized way of doing things. But yeah, man, if you don't get for these big tentpole movies, if you don't get your tickets soon, especially if you don't know your area too well when it comes to movie theaters and how things are run, it could be pretty difficult. So I have yet to see Spider-Man Brand New Day. I honestly don't even know if I'm going to get the opportunity to see it tonight, if I'm being honest with you. And I may not even be able to have time to see it tomorrow before our live movie review for tomorrow. So it might be in jeopardy. It might be in jeopardy. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes if we even do tomorrow's show. Pexy says, my condolences of passing of your dog. Yeah, it was pretty sad. It was pretty sad. His health really declined very, very quickly. I mean, I think the girlfriend probably recognized it maybe like 2 weeks ahead. I think I recognized it like a week before. It became really, yeah, just and then just immediately really declined. We were gonna go ahead and take him to the vet on Thursday morning. And then he ended up passing like Wednesday night. Um, so yeah, it was a little too late, but he's in a better place now. He's not in any pain. I think we cremated him, so we should be getting his ashes back and stuff. Hopefully sometime this week. But we'll see. So yeah, it's really thrown off our mood around the house a little bit, and anything that we really had planned all weekend long. So kind of taking things slow. But I appreciate everybody's condolences and thoughts. So I really do appreciate that. Thank you, guys. All right. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and kick off this show, man. Again, it's just myself today, rolling solo dolo. So I hope you guys certainly don't mind. I'm definitely going to need your guys' help. I don't want to just talk to the screen all day. So as I go through these topics, if you have any thoughts in regards to some of the stuff that we're talking about, please share them in the live chat and give me somebody to have a conversation with back and forth in regards to today's show. But let's go ahead and kick this off with our first segment of the day. And for those of you who are new to the channel, this is our honorable mentions portion of the show. This is the section of the show in which topics that did not quite make our top 6 to talk about, but felt that you certainly deserved to still know about them. So first and foremost, we talked a little bit about this in the past. Clueless, believe it or not, is back in the news. I think a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, we talked about the idea that Peacock turned down doing the Clueless series. And we thought Clueless might be dead in the water. But the article that we had read mentioned that Paramount was still looking for a home, regardless if Peacock decided to pick it up or not. But this week, the Hollywood Reporter lets us know that the Clueless sequel series is actually moving forward. This time, though, at Paramount Plus. It says a sequel series to the 1995 cult classic film Clueless has found a new home at Paramount Plus, which has greenlit the project. The series, starring Alicia Silverstone, will revisit the character 30 years after the events of the film, and now as the owner of a successful business and a mother who seems to have it all figured out until her daughter enters high school. It says the series will shoot on location in LA, according to Paramount Plus. So even though Paramount itself was looking to have the series developed over at Peacock, they decided to go ahead and take matters into their own hands and just greenlight it themselves. So Clueless sequel series is now moving forward over at Paramount. So that series is good to go now. Also, we've got some casting details in regards to the upcoming Mummy 4 with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. Obsession star Michael Johnston is currently in talks to join the Mummy 4. According to Variety, he's in early talks to join the 4th installment. He previously starred in Teen Wolf, but this year's Obsession brought him into attention of moviegoers. I'm not gonna lie, when I look at Michael Johnston here, I can easily see him being like the son of Brendan Fraser's character and Rachel Weisz's character. Did they ever get married at the end of The Mummy? Were they together? I can't remember the situation there, but it definitely looks like he could possibly be playing maybe their son, but no details yet in regards to exactly who he's going to be playing. So I don't want to make any assumptions or anything like that. What else do we got on the docket? We got ourselves a brand new Werwulf poster here. The new Robert Edgar film that's set to go ahead and drop this Christmas. That's right, another horror film on Christmas, starring Aaron Taylor Johnson, William Dafoe, and Lily Rose Depp. All three of them, mind you, just recently worked with Robert Edgar on his most recent film Nosferatu, and he's back once again as we got ourselves a traditional werewolf film. So yeah, Robert Edgar from The Witch, The Lighthouse, Nosferatu. So you know exactly his style. But he went ahead and dropped his very first poster for the his upcoming movie. I actually am a really big fan of horror films on Christmas. It's usually a really nice balance, if you will, from what else is usually out there on Christmas. It's going to have some stiff competition, though, because Dune, along with Avengers Doomsday, is going to be out there. But if you're talking about like counter programming, Werewolf is a great choice, I think. We also have word that the second season of Batman Cape Crusader is officially on Prime Video. This wind up releasing, I believe, on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So the second season of Batman Cape Crusader is out. And I think the rating for this, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think season 1 might have been like TV 14, like a PG-13 type of thing. But I think Cape Crusader second season is actually rated mature. So I think it's gonna a little darker, a little bit more violent here. I hear that the Joker in this season does not pull any punches whatsoever. I've been hearing pretty good things about season 2 Batman Cape Crusader. So if you haven't had the opportunity to check it out, please go ahead and do so, as it really dives further into its noir style. But season 2 is available currently on Prime Video. But if you guys have had the opportunity to see it, let me know. Nathan says, I guess we'll be rolling with the homies. What else we got on honorable mentions here today? Oh, you know what? Fresh off of his success over at the Oscars, winning Best Picture for Sinners, Michael B. Jordan is back. He's got a new film that he is, in fact, directing, The Thomas Crown Affair, the reboot. I believe the original one was with Pierce Brosnan, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe the original Thomas Crown Affair was Pierce Brosnan. But that might have even been a remake of an original, too. But I could be wrong. This is set to go ahead and drop in theaters March 5th, really kicking off sort of like that early movie-going season here. But not only did we get ourselves a poster, we did get ourselves a trailer as well. So if you have not seen the Thomas Crown Affair trailer yet, let's go ahead and dive in and see what Michael B. Jordan is up to.
I've been taking risks my entire life. But last night, it was different. I felt alive.
You know, sometimes the only thing you got to do as Michael B. Jordan is aura farm. You know, I can watch this man just like walk down the hallway looking stoic, you know, different angles, and you got my attention, bro. Like,
my heart was racing.
Oh, it's clean.
Every step was part of a plan. Things slowed down. It was silent. And I was surprised how easy it was. But I'm not finished yet.
Bro, can we stop with all the hotness on the screen, my guy? Like, Michael B. Jordan and Adria Arjona together? This is going to be a sexy movie. I can tell already.
That's what excites me.
Ooh, this beat is crazy. Oh, is my man running up the side of a building?
Move, everyone move!
That's crazy.
I just had to come over and introduce myself. Thomas Crown.
I know exactly who you are.
Best actor winner. You better know who he is. It's smooth, bro. That's smooth.
If you don't jump, can't catch me.
Did he do that stunt on his like? I gotta ask. Did he jump himself?
Can't catch me.
The way that, first off, the way the camera follows him into the water, it's like that looks like Michael B. Like it doesn't look like they digitized his face on somebody's body. Did my man literally jump off and do this himself? Nah, I'm good. That's crazy. Directed by Michael B. Jordan. All right. March 5th, baby. So yeah, that's the new Thomas Crown Affair movie. Coming to you from Michael B. Jordan, set to drop in IMAX on March 5th. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of that. There's also another trailer I wanted to show real quick. I missed this last week, but I wanted to highlight it because you know, we were really flooded last week or the previous week with a lot of like horror television series and movie announcements sort of thing, that one of them actually snuck past us that we felt you guys deserve to know about, and that is in fact the Carrie television series. This is a new series coming from none other than Mike Flanagan. We'll actually talk a little bit more about Mike Flanagan later on in the show. But an original series, Carrie, is set to go ahead and drop October 7th. I love this poster, by the way. But not only did they give us a poster, but we actually did get ourselves our very first look and trailer at the upcoming Carrie television series. Yeah, first teaser trailer for Carrie. I don't know exactly how long this teaser trailer is, but Mike Flanagan has wrapped production on this. The series is ready to go October 7th. Let's go ahead and see what this Carrie project is about. First off, can I just say, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut, like we literally just started this goddamn thing. But you know, even though my boy is literally about to go into like his last stage of pre-K here, I think pre-K 4 in like a week or two, my mind does like race to the idea of like what is high school and like school gonna be like for him as he gets older. And it frightens the hell out of me. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Like it frightens the hell out of me. Kids, like I don't know if kids were I'm curious if my parents thought kids were assholes when I was in high school. But I feel like kids are even bigger assholes now. Like just with the internet and social media and all the crazy shit that they can do in regards to bullying. I'm really fearful just for my kid going into school. So this concept of Carrie kind of terrifies me a little bit, but let's go.
I want to know why. All I ever wanted was to go to school. I never did anything to you. You put in all this effort.
Bro, nothing worse than getting your moment to shine in front of everybody. It's your turn to hit this volleyball and you can't even hit the fucking volleyball.
I never did anything
like,
to you.
Oh, and then everybody looking at you. Oh my God. I know the rest of her day is ruined, dude.
You put in all this effort to make it look like you were my friend. So why not just do that? Why? I know things aren't easy for you either. They're not easy for any of us.
Yo.
The worst part is that I really could have been your friend.
God, bro. God. Oh. You know, I love that line of hers in the sense of like we're kind of all like things are difficult for everybody. Like, why do you got to put your bullshit onto me? You know, like that's so crazy. Like it's hard out there for everybody, but like it's no excuse to like bully somebody. right? Like if you put in that effort to be my friend, we probably really could have been friends. But like whatever the fuck is going on with you, like you've decided to like put your problems onto me, even though we all have problems, right? You don't see me handling it that way, but you chose to put your problems onto me and make me the focus of like whatever resentment or animosity to bully the fuck out of me, and we could have been friends. Now I just got to burn this whole motherfucker down. Like now I just got to burn this whole place down. I love this trailer. I love this trailer. And I love the fact that the title of the show comes up as she's crying, doesn't fade to black and give us this cool like logo. It's just like boom.
In your friend.
It feels very classic, almost horror, a little bit in regards to how they designed that. But dude, what a great teaser trailer that was. Oh my gosh. Like I feel for her immediately. Like I really do. And I appreciate the idea of how modernized they're kind of making it. I literally just talked about like the idea of social media just making things so just 10 times worse, right? Like I can see maybe why Michael Flanagan wanted to attack this story now. Like out of things of like what all new could you possibly do with it? Granted, to be fair, outside of the original Carrie, I don't think I've watched any of the other like reboots or whatever they might have just come out recently with. So I don't know if the recent one just sort of did the whole social media aspect in regards to bullying and how it works out. But I got to tell you, the route that Mike Flanagan is taking in here, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan so far. Ricky says, when is filming production for the Mummy 4 might begin? It actually might be happening now. Let me see. When does production begin for Mummy 4? It might currently be filming now. Oh, it's scheduled to begin in August. So it's a pre-production prep that started in May, but it is set to go ahead and start filming this month. So that's probably why they dropped that news here today. Nathan says TVMA. I'm assuming you're talking about the Batman Cape Crusader. We got Tony Robinson in the house. What's up, Tony? Appreciate you certainly coming through. Nathan says this is how Marvel should do with mutants in the MCU, but too violent. I was talking about the Carrie stuff. Yeah, I mean, they always say mutants are the most dangerous when they first come of age. Tony Robbins says, I feel girls bully you to make themselves, or they're jealous because you are better at something than they are, or you're prettier. Yeah, any girls in the house want to give us I would love to hear from a girl's perspective as to why do you think girls do bully? Kiki and Lucas says your own kid being bullied is the worst and helpless feeling ever. Yeah, I can imagine. Kiki says Kiki and Lucas say Carrie in the original movie was freaking scary as F, but the actress was creepy. Will this be as scary? That's the key. Yeah, that is the key. That is the key for sure. People probably bully others because of insecurities in general. Yeah, probably, whatever else that they're kind of struggling, they feel the need to maybe put themselves above that person because of the fact that their own personal insecurities. Yeah, it's brutal, man. It's brutal out there. I mean, I hear things of like little kids, like not even double-digit-year-old kids, like committing suicide and stuff because of being picked on and bullied at school and going home and like taking their life. It's just like, it's really sad. And I hope something like Carrie, while yes, entertainment value in that regards, has a message in there in regards to, the impact of what bullying can do, especially in today's day and age. It's really terrifying stuff, man. Really scary. It's almost you gotta really fortify your kids with like great self-esteem, and belief in themselves before they, every day. I tell my son I'm proud of him every day. He's got like this affirmations pillow that I repeat to him every day to remind him of how special he is, how loved he is, how valuable he is, how unique he is. I think we really got to build up our kids mentality in regard and self-worth for sure. and realizing that they have people they can certainly talk to, you know. It's because it's scary out there, man. It's scary out there. But yeah, guys, those will do it for our honorable mentions. Let me know if anything really jumped out to you. But I appreciate you guys' commentary on a lot of that stuff. And you know what? It is now time to get into the main event. Don't mind me as I just like sip on my coffee to give me this energy that I need throughout. Tony Robinson says, Adam, facts, cyberbullying has spread to a lot of mediums, which is sad. Yeah, it really is. Like, I can't even imagine like being attacked on all fronts like that. People taking pictures of you, posting stuff on you, making, you know, without your permission, without your consent, right? Like finding you in your most vulnerable, insecure moments and like amplifying those to incredible outreach and stuff. Like I literally have I've watched maybe one or two videos social media of like somebody being recorded, like acting a fool, mind you, and being recorded, and then realize that they're being recorded and then absolutely freak out because they know that they could become viral. They know that putting that stuff out there will change people's perspective of you and have such outward reach outside of like just your core friends. Like now you're talking like the whole school, like not just your class, but then the whole school, and then maybe even the community outside of your school being able to recognize you and things like that, right? Like, or even people in the world that you don't even know from different states recognizing you and laughing at you. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. Like that's crazy. Like at least when we were younger and we had to deal with bullying, like the bullying only could go, I don't want to say could only go so far, but the outreach of the bullying could only go so far, right? Maybe your close friends, maybe the class, maybe the school, but like the community, not really, right? Like at least that stuff kept confined. Now it's just like your shit's global, bro. Like your shit's global. That's tough. That's tough. That's tough. But yeah, guys. But anyway, let's get into it because today is the day. You know, a lot of us have been waiting for confirmation in regards to some X-Men casting. There's been a lot of rampant speculation and rumors that are certainly going around, and we'll even talk about some of the rumors. But today we have our very first official casting. We also got some Wonder Man news, a Booster Gold news, Star Wars news as well for you guys. But we're going to go ahead and kick off first with Marvel Studios X-Men. We've got two big movies from the MCU set to drop. Now that we've gotten Brand New Day out of the way, all the focus is now on Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. And then outside of that, we know that the Mutant Saga is coming. The Mutant Saga is certainly here. We are getting ready for casting. Apparently has definitely been underway. We've been eagerly anticipating when are we going to get our very first casting announcements for us. And I got to be honest, I'm surprised that the first official casting that we wind up getting, it's not Magneto, it's not Professor X, hell, it's not even Cyclops, it's not even Storm. Our first official casting announcement has in fact been Emma Frost. That's right, the White Queen herself. It is in fact official. They have cast for the White Queen, Emma Frost, and it's none other. And you just saw her recently, I believe it was earlier this year in Ready or Not 2, but it's going to be Samara Weaving. That's right, Samara Weaving is in fact going to be our brand new White Queen, Emma Frost. Casting news just came down this past week. Even Boss Logic, who does some amazing artwork, did a great little rendition of Samara Weaving as the White Queen, and I'm absolutely loving it. But yes, Samara Weaving officially is going to be our White Queen, Emma Frost, and I love this casting. I truly love this casting. I'm a big fan of Samara Weaving from where I've seen her at so far. I'm sure there's plenty of things that I have yet to see her cast in. Actually, let me go ahead and put her into the IBD here. I want to see what other films that she has been in. You guys are probably pretty familiar with her. Let's see here. IMBD. I remember her recently from the two Ready or Not films because I literally just watched them this year to go ahead and prep for it. Let me see. What else is she listed in? Carolina, Caroline, Eenie Meenie, Borderline, Azriel. Oh, she was in Scream 6 as Laura Crane. She was in Scream 6 for you guys. I didn't even know she was also in the Snake Eyes movies back in 2021. That reboot of the G.I. Joe franchise they tried to do. I didn't even know she was in Snake Eyes. I guess she tried. Yeah, she was Scarlet in that movie. I might have to go back and check it out. But from Snake Eyes to Scream 6 to Ready or Not 1 and 2. Yeah, man. That's Samara Weaving for you. But yeah, she has officially been cast as our White Queen. Yeah, it's ready to go. Let's go ahead and start talking about this and see what they say in regards to her casting. So this came to us officially from Deadline. Samara Weaving lands role of Emma Frost in the upcoming Marvel Studios pick. While there's no mention of X-Men in the Hall H this past weekend, Marvel Studios seems to be getting closer to forming its team of mutants. Sources tell Deadline that Samara Weaving is the choice to play Emma Frost in the upcoming X-Men movie. After meeting with a number of candidates, director Jack Schreier and Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige landed on Weaving earlier this week to tackle the role. Marvel had no comment on the casting. While James Bond has had everyone's attention this summer, the most active casting process has been who will play the new team of mutants. While Schreier and Marvel executives have been meeting and auditioning actors for a number of roles, with the Frost character appearing to elicit the most thorough search among the cast. The final list of actors tested for the role right after July 4th. At the end of the day, Weaving's audition was too hard to beat. Frost is a telepathic mutant who first showed up in the X-Men comics in the 1980s and has evolved over the years, going from supervillain to a key member of the X-Men. On the film side, she was just recently played by January Jones back in the X-Men First Class movie, if you guys recall that. This latest development is sure to excite fans of the franchise. The new project gained momentum last spring. Weaving already is having herself a big 2026. In March, she led Ready or Not 2. Trying to see if there's anything else in here. So yeah, there you go. We got ourselves our brand new Samara Weaving. Looks like casting is very much underway. I have been hearing that auditions for this have actually been underway since May, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to find out when Emma Frost made her debut in the X-Men. It says Emma Frost made her comic debut in X-Men 129, which is January 1980. She was created by writer Chris Claremont. We have heard about the idea of introduced as the villainous White Queen of the Hellfire Club during the build-up to the famous Dark Phoenix saga. This issue also marked the very first appearance of Kitty Pryde. Ooh, okay. If anything, I do find that interesting because of the fact that anytime you have heard any of the writers or the directors for X-Men talk, they have talked very highly about the idea that a lot of what they've been reading is the Chris Claremont run. So if anything, I have a feeling that that's probably where they're taking a lot of their inspiration from. And I do find this interesting that of all the outside of, outside of Spider-Man Brand New Day, I don't necessarily want to talk about it. I have been a little bit spoiled about it already, but this is really our very first. I always found it fascinating that this is the first X-Men announcement. To me, if Emma Frost is in this upcoming movie, this feels to me like they are very much establishing the Hellfire Club to have a presence in the very first film. If you are kind of talking about an organization or a group that has power and connections and money kind of working a little clandestine in the background, pulling strings, creating chaos, the Hellfire Club would definitely be great as a quasi, as I don't want to say necessarily the main villains of the first one, but maybe working behind the scene with whoever the villain of this first movie certainly might be. The fact that the Hellfire Club is sort of um debuting at the buildup of the Dark Phoenix saga does make me wonder if that's the direction that they're trying to go, or if they're at least just trying to populate this world with it. I don't want to say with as many mutants as they possibly can, but um at least in the sense of having, while we have our heroes, we have our group of villains also, that can kind of work both ways. So the idea of the White Queen, or Frost, being introduced in here, it makes me wonder: do we have a Sebastian Shaw? Do we have other key figures like Madeline Pryor? Wasn't Madeline Pryor part of the Hellfire Club also? So I am kind of curious as to if how big this casting announcement is going to be. Like, not only do we have to fill in the casts for the X-Men, but also the various Hellfire Club members also. And will they be the main villains of this, or are they pulling the strings for another big bad for this as well? So the idea that Emma Frost is the first that winds up getting announced, they could have held on to this, I think, until maybe something like a D23. I would find it, I don't want to say odd, that they announced the casting at something like D23. The fact that we got no casting announcements for San Diego Comic-Con, but literally like a week after this winds up dropping, this does make me curious if they were thinking about revealing them at San Diego Comic-Con but decided not to. Their next stop is going to be later this August, in like 2 weeks, for D23. Now, I have a feeling that that's mostly going to be focusing on sort of like television and animation side for for Marvel Studios. But with a lot of the recent like cancellations and stuff, I really don't even know what the future for Marvel animation and television even looks like. So I am kind of curious if they will take some of D23 to talk a little bit about the movies. And if we are talking about the movies, then maybe that's where they will at least give us some X-Men casting announcements. And then the rest of the time will be spent on the animation and television side of things. So they may be holding on to some bigger names, and to some other names until not this upcoming Friday, but maybe the following Friday. When is D23? I think it's like look at my calendar. I think it's like the 14th and 15th. So I could be wrong though. Somebody let me know when D23 is. Kiki and Luca, I know you're going to D23. If you're in the chat still, let us know when D23 certainly is. But I think from a casting perspective, Samara Weaving is fantastic. I absolutely love this choice of Emma Frost. It makes me really excited to kind of see the direction in which they go for other actors. And because it feels like they very much have their hand on the button in regards to really great performers being cast in these particular roles. So I'm actually really, really looking forward to this. But I think Samara Weaving is a great choice in that regards. There are a couple other rumors that are currently going on right now also. There's talk that Ryan Coogler is actually the one that's going to be in charge of casting for Storm, as it's picking up heavy momentum that Storm is going to be in Black Panther 3. I even heard another rumor that something like the upcoming Ghost Rider movie could potentially have a Nightcrawler cameo in there, maybe utilizing other MCU movies to introduce certain mutant characters into the bigger world. I actually kind of think that would actually work out relatively well and be pretty cool to kind of let us see these characters before we jump into them in their own, maybe in the actual X-Men movie itself. Again, that's just me speculating there, but that's some of the rumors that I'm hearing. But the Ryan Coogler Casting for Storm doesn't surprise me. The Nightcrawler potentially in Ghost Rider does surprise me, but it would definitely fit and make sense if that's the route that they were going. But that Ghost Rider Nightcrawler thing is definitely speculation at this point. Kiki and Lucas say D23 is August 14th and the 16th. We actually here on Hero Report, we will be doing a live reaction for I believe it's their Friday panel, the 14th. I think they've got like a Disney entertainment showcase where they're going to talk Pixar, Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars. I think it's like a 2-hour presentation. So that's from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time. So that's like 9 p.m. to 11 o'clock my time. So we probably will be trying to do a live reaction for the D23 announcement, and would love to play Mystique. After Obsession became an unprecedented box office success and earned over $400 million, all eyes are on Indy Navarrete. She said, I've been taking a lot of meetings since Obsession came out. That's been really nice because you get to meet people and ask questions. One of those meetings, as one might expect, was for the Hollywood Rising Stars, was Marvel Studios. She revealed that she recently met with Thunderbolts director Jack Schreier, who is now developing Marvel's upcoming X-Men film. She says she grew up watching the original X-Men and praised Schreier for bringing back the character-driven storytelling that she loved about the era of Marvel. I thought what Jake brought to Thunderbolts was what I used to love about Marvel. It was character-driven, and the whole time I just couldn't stop yapping about how much I appreciate what he did with Marvel. She stopped short of revealing more about her conversation with Schreier. She tempered expectations that explaining that many of her recent meetings have simply been opportunities to meet filmmakers she admires, whether or not that leads to contracts being signed. That's kind of the luxury I have right now, meeting all these different kinds of people. Not all of these meetings turn into projects, but sometimes it's just, I really want to work with you. I've seen this project and this one and this one. As for what character Navarrete could play, she left fans with a T. She says, I mean, Mystique has always been super cool. So we'll see if she gets her opportunity to play Mystique. Again, this is just her talking about having met with the director, whether or not she's actually auditioned for the role, or if she has plans on actually being in the movie. That is certainly, time will definitely tell, but it's pretty amazing. It's the opportunities that kind of open up for you when Hollywood and the general public take a notice of you, right? I mean, she's also fresh off of Superman and Lois, the fantastic series over at CW, and now we see her really gaining more eyes when it comes to Obsession so far. So yeah, opportunities galore. But we do have another rumor here that wind up dropping. Now, this article is back from the middle of July, but it's recently been getting a lot of headway and garnering a lot of attention, to certainly say the least. This comes to us from comicbookmovie.com. X-Men rumor, alien Romulus star Kaylee Spaney emerges as frontrunner to play MCU's Rogue. I will say it feels very much like the Rogue character has been a hotly contested role out there for many. Let's see what the article says. It says, again, this was July 17th. From what I'm hearing, the two finalists for the role, it says Odessa Azion. I believe we probably just saw her in Marty Supreme, if I'm not mistaken. Margaret Qualley and Indy Navarrete have all been mentioned before now, but as we're sure you'll remember, filling those roles often means going through many potential candidates. Spaney first gained attention for her work in Pacific Rim Uprising, Bad Times at the El Royale. She established herself in Priscilla, Civil War, and Alien Romulus. There's some word that I'm hearing that her, along with Odessa Azion, were in fact the finalist, but that Kaylee Spaney is actually making a push for the Rogue character. I'm trying to see if I have. I believe it's the Jeff Schneider, the insider, is the one that is pushing this news. If I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to find on my Twitter account here. Oh, here we go. Let me pull this up here for you guys. This is the information that I'm hearing from Jeff Schneider. He says Kevin Feige and Jack Schreier really wanted Odessa Azion, but Callie lobbied hard for the project and went to Jack Schreier to convince Kevin Feige to cast her as Rogue. So there is some speculation right now that Kaylee Spaney might have actually won the role. It's not confirmed as of yet, though. But it seems as though Kevin Feige and Jack had other intentions, but she lobbied pretty hard for the role. It might potentially have gotten it. And I'm actually seeing a lot of eagerness behind her potentially getting the role itself. I did see a really cool mock-up of somebody actually put together a cool image of her looking like Rogue. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Kaylee Spaney as Rogue, potentially. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty good one. Look, I like visually, that looks great to me. And I do like Kaylee Spaney as an actor. She is from Missouri, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Rogue character itself is from Mississippi, but she's from Missouri. Oh, she's in the recent series of Beef. I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to check that out. I love the first season of Beef. Looks like she also says she was in Wake Up Dead Man. I barely remember that. Alien Romulus. I remember I really enjoyed her Alien Romulus. I didn't really care for her character in Civil War, if I'm being honest. But yeah, my thing is, look, I think Kaylee Spaney, from a acting performance, like if we're just talking performance wise, I do think that she is a great actress. I think she's got the potential of being really wonderful. But if I'm being honest, I just don't see her as Rogue. I don't know why, but when I see Kaylee Spaney going out for Rogue, I think of Anna Paquin from the very first X-Men movie as Rogue, and I remember being really disappointed. Like, it felt like, to me, Anna Paquin was like Timu Rogue for X-Men 2000 back in the day, because of the idea of like, our budget just can't actually meet the demands of what a Rogue power set would have been like during that time. So it felt like they went with the more character driven, let's just utilize her powers, like absorption powers. And so they went with Anna Paquin. And I guess it was okay. If anything, I think I appreciated Anna Paquin as Rogue a little bit more in the second, in X2, a little bit more than I did the first one. But I'm not gonna lie, I mean, when I first watched the X-Men movie originally, like, underwhelmed. I was really underwhelmed as Anna Paquin as Rogue. And I don't know why I get Kaylee Spaney as Anna Paquin 2.0 vibes in that regards. Maybe she can hit a really great Southern accent. If she was a finalist with Odessa and they decided to go with Odessa, Kaylee Spaney is clearly doing something right behind the scenes in regards to making it up the chain in regards to performance wise. But like visually, I just don't see it. And I worry, like, I get more Kitty Pryde vibes from her than anything else. Like, I get Kitty Pryde, Shadow Cat vibes, go have a relationship with Colossus type of energy, than I do Rogue. I guess from me, like, visually, I think of, I see Rogue differently than I do. Like, I look at her as a powerhouse, and I'm kind of curious if Kaylee Spaney, not to say that she needs to be built up like a Wonder Woman or anything like that, right? But from what I expect when I look at X-Men 97 and I look at the Jim Lee sort of run, of X-Men stuff. I just don't see Kaylee Spaney in that role. And I am kind of curious if this is, I will say this. I do wonder if this is just a rumor. People have said that this is concrete, though. If you trust other inside sources like Jeff Schneider and others, they believe that Kaylee Spaney has the role of Rogue. But considering the fact that we literally just got an announcement for Samara Weaving as Emma Frost, and I just read to you guys that Emma Frost's debut in the Hellfire Club is the same issue that Kitty Pryde debuts in. I do wonder if this is the Kitty Pryde energy that I'm talking about. Like, I'm wondering if she's low-key about to be Shadowcat in the MCU, if she's about to be our Kitty Pryde, because that's the vibe that I get off. And it's not to say like Kitty Pryde's not important. Kitty Pryde is a very impactful mutant in the MCU, or just in X-Men in general. Kitty Pryde has its fan base for sure. So that definitely would work for me. I just don't see her as Rogue. Maybe from performance-wise, she can knock it out the park, but like physicality wise, I just don't see it. But maybe they do see it if she's sort of in the running with Odessa. But we'll see how this turns out. Because I just get Anna Paquin 2.0 vibes for Rogue, and that's just not the Rogue that I'm visualizing and hoping to get. But those are my own expectations. If she does get cast as Rogue, I'm gonna go ahead and trust the process that Jack Schreier and Kevin Feige know what it is that they're looking for. But I will be curious as to see when we get more casting announcements. Will we get them August 14th at D23? Or is this something that they hold very close to their chest until like San Diego Comic-Con? Or do they just wind up dropping casting announcements originally? Marcelino, what's up, Marcelino? Good to see you. How would you feel if Jack Schreier plan is not to make Rogue the powerhouse but to use character in a different setting for the story he wants to tell? I mean, that could be the case. That could be the case. Rogue does start off in the comic books as a villain. I don't know if she was immediately a powerhouse as a villain, or when she maybe comes into. Because I believe she absorbed the power of Captain Marvel, if I'm not mistaken, to kind of give her those. Like Carol Danvers, to give her that power set, but maybe I'm incorrect in that regards. So yeah, maybe they could be using her for a different. It would just feel like, yeah, let her still Captain Marvel's powers. That's what I thought. So they could be easily going that route if they certainly wanted to. I just think it would be a mistake, but that's just an outsider, couch quarterbacking. I trust Jack Schreier in regards to what they're going to do with these characters. I love what he did with Thunderbolts. I think all their attention is on characters. I think Kevin Feige and them are really cutting back on the quantity over quality and focusing a little bit more on quality. So whatever route they decide to go, I'll support it. But just from an outsider looking in, I don't really care for the Kaylee Spaney as Rogue if they decide to go that route. But I'll give it an opportunity for sure. But yeah, guys, so officially we do have our very first casting here. Emma Frost as or Samara Weaving as Emma Frost. Great casting, if you ask me, and I cannot wait to see exactly what they do going forward. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section box below. Marcelino says, if she does play Rogue, how are they going to connect her with Captain Marvel? I couldn't tell you, man. I couldn't tell you. If Black Panther 3, maybe Captain Marvel shows up in the movie, in the X-Men or something like that. Maybe they get Brie Larson to pop up in an X-Men film and use her in that. But who certainly knows? But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in regards to it. How do you guys feel about Samara Weaving being our first official casting announcement as Emma Frost? Do you expect big things then from the Hellfire Club, certainly moving forward? Or do you think they're building up towards something else? I definitely want to know your guys' thoughts in the comment section box below. Speaking of the MCU, we will stick and stay in the MCU a little bit here. Dang it. Sorry, I had to edit something real quick. We will be going from the X-Men, though, to talk a little bit about Wonder Man. Wonder Man is in the news this week, not for the great reasons that we're certainly hoping for. If you guys recall, a couple of weeks back, Marvel Television announced Wonder Man Season 2. And now it seems as though they are reversing their thoughts on a Wonder Man Season 2, as unfortunately Wonder Man starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen has in fact been canceled. There's a lot of uproar in regards to this. This was one of the dark horses when it comes to Marvel Television, as a lot of people that watched Wonder Man absolutely loved it, got a ton of fantastic praise. Show run by Destin Cretton, fresh off of his success from Spider-Man Brand New Day. They had plans for a season 2. I believe the writing room had just gotten together or was about to start getting together relatively soon. But they have officially announced that Wonder Man has in fact been canceled. This comes to us from Variety.com. Wonder Man not returning for season 2 over at Disney. This is an exclusive. Wonder Man has been canceled at Disney Plus. The news comes despite the fact that Disney announced the season 2 renewal for the show back in March, roughly 2 months after it debuted. According to sources, a writer's room for season 2 was never opened, and the show's writers have been released to pursue other projects. So they're really done. They're really done. It's debuted at strong critical acclaim upon its premiere, with the first season holding a 91% critical approval rating. He actually earned Abdul-Mateen actually earned an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Lead Actor in the Comedy Series for his work on the show, making him the only live-action actor to get an Emmy nod for both Marvel and DC, following his win for his work on HBO's Watchmen. He was so good in this. I really appreciated just the acting performance, like just based off of the type of show that Wonder Man is. I think from like an actor perspective, whether you're Ben Kingsley or Yahya Abdul-Mateen, the type of writing and dialogue and monologues that they allowed for them to be able to do, almost like they were going for casting roles and stuff, like really allows Yahya Abdul to like have an incredible range of performances that he had in Wonder Man. So the idea of him giving an Oscar nomination to this doesn't surprise me. According to an individual with knowledge of the situation, Wonder Man is not proceeding with season 2. The characters features in the series could still appear in other Marvel projects in the future. This does make me wonder if this opens the door at all for Wonder Man to pop up in something like Secret Wars. I don't expect him to be in Doomsday, but with a type of story that something like Secret Wars is, it's a great spot to put somebody like Simon Williams in, even if it's as a small cameo. And they haven't started filming for Secret Wars yet, so I think the opportunity for him to pop up in Secret Wars is definitely a possibility. But no season 2 for Wonder Man, and it continues to make me wonder when we do get to, no pun intended, but when we get to D23, what Marvel Television shows are you going to be announcing, bro? Like, if we're not going to be talking about Wonder Man season 2, what will we be talking about at D23? Daredevil Born Again season 3. Maybe they'll talk a little bit about Vision Quest. But like, that's it. I don't even know anything on the docket per Marvel Television that they can even talk about. Maybe animation wise, we get some Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man stuff. And then outside of that, I don't even know. Maybe an announcement of X-Men 97 season 3, but like, I think that might be like it. Like, I am kind of curious as to the directions that they're going to go with the television side, but Wonder Man is no longer a thing, unfortunately. We did have we did have the showrunner from Wonder Man actually drop something for us today, as he himself talked about this. This is from Nexus Point News with the showrunner. Wonder Man fans angry at Marvel's cancellation. It feels like robbery. Here's the showrunner Andrew Guest talking about it himself. Here we go.
Just want to say I've been listening. I appreciate you all. I feel how you all feel, and I just want to clear up what I can here. This is not a marketing stunt. There is no movie in the works, and Destin's schedule and no one's schedule was an issue. Yaya, Destin, Sir Ben, and I all loved making this show, all felt passionately about continuing to do it, and were eager to. Contracts were signed, schedules were cleared. The writer's room was supposed to start this month. The production was supposed to begin early next year. And there was a decision made internally between Disney and Marvel that this didn't make sense for them, even though a few months ago it did. And that's essentially all I really know. Numbers aren't really shared with me. And even though the writer's room hadn't started, I had written the first episode of season 2, and we had an outline for where the season would go, and everyone felt really good about it. It was going to be a really incredible season that hopefully surpassed season 1. I appreciate everybody getting out there and letting your voices be heard about how you feel about this. And I think there's important conversations being had online about the kind of stories that we're prioritizing and the kind of shows platforms want to make. I hope people are listening. And I also hope that Emmy voters are thinking about Yaya, how much he deserves an Emmy for the incredible work he did on this show. Just want to say,
I love that he uses the last couple of seconds as a promotional tool for Yaya for his Emmy Award nomination. That's fantastic. I'm sorry, I find that funny. But there are some let people start to speculate in regards to why we're not getting Wonder Man season 2. This was another update that we wind up getting from Jeff Schneider here, the insider. He says Wonder Man season 2 being canceled is Marvel's larger plan to stop producing shows for Disney Plus that devalues the Marvel brand to the general audience. Marvel saw the writing on the wall with Star Wars and wants to prevent making the same mistake. That doesn't mean they're stopping shows entirely. So look, I think the outcry right now, and I think we have to look at this from two perspectives here, because I do think it's worth talking about. The outcry right now is like, why can't we get more Black superhero content to like be meaningful from Marvel? Because they have a lot of Black characters that they're really like, outside of Black Panther, they're just tremendously dropping the ball on, right? And people are starting to pick up on this in regards to like, this isn't a coincidence, right? The Blade movie isn't happening, at least not with Mahershala Ali. We've been 7 years waiting for that movie. It's not happening. Mahershala Ali just recently in the GQ magazine said, look, stop asking me questions about Blade. If they wanted to make the movie, they would have made the movie. Go ask Marvel why we didn't make the movie. All right. So he recognizes the writing on the wall in regards that if there is going to be a Blade movie, it's not happening with him, or at least they haven't had the intention of making the Blade movie with him. Not to say that we're not going to get a Blade movie in a couple of years in a different direction. Who knows? But the Mahershala Ali Blade is off the table. Okay. People have been bummed about the lack of use of Sam Wilson in the MCU. Granted, my man literally just had an entire series around him and Bucky, which I thought was the best Sam Wilson Captain America stuff we have had, because brand new world didn't do my man any justice. All right, so they shit the bed on Captain America Brand New Day. Monica Rambeau is completely MIA as of right now. Who knows where she's at? The last time we saw her was in the Marvels. She doesn't seem to have a role, at least in Avengers Doomsday as of right now, or at least if she does, who knows how prominent of a role it is, if she has a cameo in it, right? So people are wondering like where she could potentially be at. And the list goes on in regards to just things that have not worked out for a lot of our black characters when it comes to that. And now Wonder Man isn't getting a season 2, right? A fantastic show that people were asking about, and it's not coming to fruition anymore in regards to season 2. So people are definitely starting to take notice in regards to some of their favorite black characters not really getting the shine or spotlight or being handled properly, and being kind of just pushed under the rug, right? So that's definitely one viewpoint that I think I've been seeing on here. The other viewpoint I think does need to be talked about, and that other viewpoint is the notion of Marvel is really going back to the concept of quality over quantity. Regardless of how well Wonder Man did, this feels like going back to the drawing board and trying to figure out, if we are going to utilize Marvel Television, how are we going to utilize it going forward to not stretch ourselves too thinly. And so there's a part of me that thinks maybe, and I guess maybe the cancellation of Wonder Man season 2 kind of goes against the grain in this concept and this thought, but maybe Marvel Television wants to go more prestige television. And I would say Wonder Man is kind of prestige television, especially if you're getting recognized at the Emmys, right? It feels like Marvel's television's most grown up type of television series that's separate from the MCU, that you don't need the baggage of the MCU to get into Wonder Man. So the cancellation of Wonder Man season 2 does feel like that goes against the idea of like they just want to do more prestige television, because if you wanted to do more prestige television, you would have just kept Wonder Man season 2. But I can see the idea of them not wanting to do more Marvel television if Jeff Schneider is correct. Star Wars television has definitely, I think, devalued Star Wars in some capacity, especially when the content that's being put out for Star Wars hasn't been top tier in everything that it's done, right? It's just continuing to devalue itself. And I think after the actors strike, after the writers strike, they've really taken a step back and probably told themselves, like, we really need a new strategy. And it feels like they are going back to the quantity, or the quality over quantity. And in order to do that, maybe they feel like their Marvel television stuff needs a fresh reboot in regards to going in a fresh direction. And that unfortunately means goodbye Wonder Man, which is really unfortunate, especially the fact that it had to happen to that character. So I will be interested to see what D23 showcases for us, if Marvel Television really has any plans for other television shows going forward. This does make me wonder if Daredevil Born Again season 3 will be the last season of Daredevil Born Again. I'm kind of getting those vibes, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think Daredevil Born Again viewership has been the best either. So I would be kind of curious as to going forward the direction. Now, if they come out and they're like, hey, Daredevil Born Again season 4 has been announced, I'm going to look back on this Wonder Man season 2 being canceled like, hey, bro, what's going on? If we're keeping Daredevil Born Again, there's no reason why Wonder Man season 2 can't be made. I'm going to be over Marvel Television's ass if that's the case. Because at this point, if Wonder Man season 2 is not going to be canceled, I expect everything except for the animation stuff. I expect everything live action going forward after Daredevil Born Again season 3 to be off the table, to be completely off the table. If it is a quality over quantity thing, we better not get a Daredevil Born Again season 4. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. or the first narrative of what are you doing to my black characters is going to get even more exposed when it comes to Marvel Studios. Okay. I'm just being honest. I think it's a narrative that people should run with and should be on Marvel Studios' ass about to make these characters certainly try and work. But yeah, man, a bummer. But if it is truly the quality over quantity, I understand, and I want them to refocus and make sure that a lot of their attention is being paid to the movie side of things. And if they are going to continue with Marvel Television going forward, whether that be maybe special presentations, or more like prestige, kind of like what HBO originals are for the DCU, whether that be Penguin or Lanterns. Maybe they kind of go something along those routes, or just utilize uh Disney television to kind of be limited series type of stuff with really no connection to the bigger MCU, like literally just standalone stuff that you don't have to worry about the baggage with. But maybe you guys feel a little bit differently about it. I would love to know. Kiki and Lucas say, why do people like Emma Frost so much? Wasn't she the one that turned into a diamond? Yeah, she's got telepathic abilities, and she can harden her skin with a diamond and be nearly indestructible in that regards. I don't know if she has a level of super strength when she's in that diamond form or not. I love her for her sassiness. I love Emma Frost for the idea that she don't give no F's. She's got some really great drama when it comes to her and relationships. Always an interesting one to say the least. But I love her sassiness. I love her don't give a F sort of mentality. Very sexy, very manipulative. But it works. It works for her. It really does. Nathan says they will use the excuse that it was originally supposed to be a one season series. That is true. That they probably will utilize that excuse. Kiki and Luke say Echo, Wonder Man, Kamala, Monica, all adios. Yeah, nowhere to be seen. Keegan Lucas says people are saying that Disney Plus shows have diluted Marvel and Star Wars brands, and that's one of what they're saying. That's definitely what they're saying in that regards, and I can kind of see it. I can kind of see. I think that is a narrative that kind of works. Kiki and Luke says D23 needs to bring some excitement and energy. That's their convention, so I'm hoping that they bring something even better than what they did at Comic-Con. And that's one of the reasons why I think maybe D23 will have the X-Men announcements, maybe to help bolster up the idea that it's like, guys, we really don't have too many Marvel Television announcements to make on a live action perspective. But I do expect Vision Quest to be highly focused on, considering the fact that that's set to go ahead and drop in a couple of months. So I definitely expect Vision Quest and maybe like Spider-Man, Your Neighborhood Spider-Man season 3, and maybe some Daredevil Born Again, season 2, and then some Daredevil Born Again season 3 stuff. Kiki and Lucas says, I'll take some pictures and send you photos of D23, Adam. Yeah, please do. We'll go ahead and highlight them for sure on the show. Kiki and Lucas says Emma Frost being hot is her superpower. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Nathan says it's funny when they had Marvel series on Netflix, it worked. They moved Daredevil to Disney Plus and it's not working out. Yeah, we were just in a different phase, I think, at the time. I don't know what the it's been so long since they announced the Netflix stuff and we've had Netflix stuff. We were always under the impression that, yes, it's all connected. And I thought the Netflix stuff did a really good job of giving us little Easter eggs here and there, little mentions of stuff that might have happened within the MCU. But it was always its own self-contained cinematic world, right? Like it even built up towards a crossover event in regards to the Defenders and stuff, which was really dope and really cool. Maybe that's where something like the Disney Plus stuff didn't work, because maybe the Disney Plus stuff was meant for those people to lead towards the movies, whereas maybe their focus should have been, yes, while we're connected to the MCU, maybe we should make sort of like a television cinematic universe and kind of build up, like if we're going to introduce characters, maybe build up to another cinematic event like the Defenders. Like hell, like maybe like Wonder Man, I think would have been a really great launching point for something like the West Coast Avengers if they wanted to do like a limited series on Disney Plus, right? Get some of the characters that were just television focused and kind of build them together to give us a West Coast Avengers limited series like they did the Defenders for Netflix. So I just think the mindset of where Marvel Studios was when it comes to what worked for them on Netflix to then like getting way ahead of themselves and stretching themselves too thin for like Disney Plus era stuff. You know, it was just a different mindset back in the day. But you know, look, I was definitely a proponent of the idea of like, hey, let's get some television series that build up these characters, and then showcase them in the movies. But I think the fault of the movies here is the idea that, you know, we're assuming that all these people have watched the television series, and that in itself is a huge error and miscalculation, because then you should have introduced these characters in the movies first and maybe then given themselves a television series or a limited series. Or if you do give them a television series first, you then have to somehow give them an origin story or have their story told again movie wise for the general audience to even care about these characters to begin with. Because I think the huge miscalculation of, oh, Marvel fans are just going to watch everything that we put out, and now you're kind of making homework, right? And so you know, probably originally a great idea, but miscalculation in regards to its execution. And so now I think that they are kind of seeing the writing on the wall, and they're trying to get the fan base back. And I think they've been doing a great number. Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Brand New Day, all very positive for the MCU, building that momentum going into Doomsday. And if I'm Kevin Feige, I want all my attention to be on Doomsday and Secret Wars and what's coming out next for the MCU. And that unfortunately probably means whatever we have going on television wise, you know, we have to maybe do a hard reset before this next phase of movies wind up dropping. But that's just my own speculation. But again, stay on Marvel Studios' ass for the improper usage of their characters and not getting the spotlight that they certainly deserved. We are going to stay in the MCU a little bit, because speaking of the momentum that the MCU has right now, Marvel Studios just went ahead and released Spider-Man Brand New Day this past week. I haven't had the opportunity to check it out as of yet. Keeping my fingers crossed that I can probably check it out before tomorrow's show. But if not, I'm definitely going to try and see it as soon as I can. But it's just been sold out, man. At least in the big theaters that I've been wanting to see it in. I probably could find some measly, you know, regular seats, no recliner seats, regular small ass television, you know, movie screen to watch this on if I want to. But I want to see it in the best possible way that I possibly can. But opportunities are becoming very slim because of the fact that this is a very big and popular movie right now. And all attention is really focused on the director, Destin Daniel Cretton, in regards to what he's been able to accomplish with this. But he also had an incredible interview, it looks like, with Screen Rant that really highlights his involvement in the MCU going forward and the opportunities that have kind of presented himself. So let's go ahead and dive into this. Again, this comes to us from Screen Rant. Go ahead and pull this up here. Destin Daniel Cretton has found his place in the Marvel Universe. In a sit-down interview with Screen Rant for this profile, he keeps coming back, and he explained why. He says, I mean, it's really the people. He says, I fell in love with the people who work at Marvel. From Kevin on down, everybody that I work with there is just incredibly supportive. They're all movie lovers and so passionate about what they're doing. And contrary to what many people believe, I find incredible freedom there. I find that they've been so supportive of me finding my way into these big stories and big canvases through ideas that are very personal to me. They've kind of helped me realize these big movies on a grand scale, but allow me to do it in a way that I connect to. It's kind of a dream to work for a company that does that. And so it's, it's always interesting to kind of see like how directors or writers, how they transition into Marvel Studios. Sometimes it works for people, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the big machine that is Marvel pushes back against them. It doesn't necessarily work with their style of filmmaking. But for someone like Destin Daniel Cretton, he's really sort of found his legs. The simple secret to Shang-Chi and Wonder Man is Destin Daniel's guiding light. Cretton is one of many directors that Marvel courted from the world of indie and studio dramas, as well as the most successful of them. He credits what he learned from making movies such as Short Term 12 and Just Mercy with preparing him to cut through the noise of blockbuster filmmaking and focus on what's important in these stories. He goes on to say, when you get to a big superhero movie, especially now, I think the thing that is most important is the characters and their personal journey that they're on, and making sure that these emotions are relevant and relatable to everyday normal people who are going to watch these movies. The only dial that I have to measure that is my own self, and making sure that I personally connect with the inner journey of these characters. I personally am not in it to do these giant movies just because they're big, or just because they're Spider-Man, or just because they're Shang-Chi. I fall in love with these characters, with these movies, the moment that I find a thing about that story that connects with me deeply and personally. And not to say, it's always interesting because I do believe that a lot of directors and writers try and come to these characters from that perspective, but for some reason, when it comes to Destin Daniel Cretton, he's really been able to just land on it directly without too much interference, if you will, from the studio. I don't want to say too much interference because I'm sure they had a lot of say in regards to what goes into a movie like Spider-Man. But to be able to connect with the character personally and tell the story, that as a director or writer, that the story connects with you, that it'll also connect with everyday normal people, certainly makes a lot of sense to me. I go back and I think about something like the Marvels, and the writer on there. I'm sure she probably tried to tackle this the same way also, that Destin Daniel Cretton. Like, I don't think she goes in, like, based off of the fact that she was also an indie director and writer going into something like the Marvels. It's the same sort of mentality that I think Destin Daniel Cretton was certainly under. But maybe because of the fact that maybe Destin had a little bit more experience in the indies, had gotten themselves kind of prepared for working with big studios, whereas I think the director for the Marvels really just came straight from the indies, and was thrusted into sort of like this big project, if you will, that even some of the personal and character driven stuff wind up kind of getting lost amongst the muck of it all, in regards to trying to put together a big tentpole franchise movie like the Marvels was. So I think every situation is certainly different, but I do appreciate the way that Destin Cretton has certainly approached this. Could that real world controversy and its on-screen fallout have played a part of Oh, here we go. Though there were many factors in play, as he acknowledged, the guiding light may be why Cretton isn't directing the next Avengers movie. After being announced in the role in July 2022, when the film was called The Kang Dynasty, reports of him having stepped away from the project first surfaced in November 2023. That's notably 1 month before Kang the Conqueror, Jonathan Majors, was found guilty of harassment and reckless assault in the third degree, prompting his exit from the role and significant overhaul of the multiverse saga storyline. Could that real world controversy and its on-screen fallout play a part in Cretton's decision to step away? Certainly, but even in an answer that politely declines to get into the details, it sounds like he couldn't find that spark in whatever Marvel was planning. He says Avengers 5 didn't work out for many reasons. I had a conversation with Kevin at the time about, the reasons why I didn't feel like the right fit for the story that they were chasing. And then in the same room, he mentioned Spider-Man to me. I think this is an interesting quote from him, in the sense that I had conversations with Kevin at that time about, the reasons why I didn't feel the right fit for the story. So immediately he's already struggling, I think, to find the spark or that personal connection storyline wise of something that he can find relatable and meaningful to the character itself, to the characters and story itself to tell. And he's not finding that connection there. He says, I didn't feel like the right fit for the story that they were chasing. Not the story that they had in mind, but the story that they were chasing. Almost meant to feel like maybe the pieces that they had set up for the King Dynasty didn't feel that that's set in stone yet. That they were still trying to find the connective tissues to kind of make this all work. Like when you're saying that what they were chasing, it feels like things were maybe getting ahead of them at the time, and they, from a script point of view, it just wasn't landing for him. Like they were really trying to make big stretches or chasing after something that necessarily wasn't there as of yet. So it does make me feel like maybe we dodged a bullet. Like, I know people want to say like the idea of like, Marvel, Marvel's taking some big swings and getting really desperate when doing something like Avengers Doomsday, when they probably should have just played things out and gave us Kang the Conqueror. I don't know if I want the Kang Dynasty movie if the studio is chasing after a story without the story already firmly plotted out to make sense. And if Destin Daniel Cretton saw the script and felt like you guys are chasing something and this script is not completed, it's not done, like it's not ready to go, I don't necessarily want to be a part of this, I can see why he would kind of bail on the project, because this is even before Jonathan Majors wind up kind of getting in trouble. He was like, no, I don't want any part of this. And a blessing and an opportunity came to him instead in regards to Spider-Man and being able to fully flesh that out. And he probably made the right decision in that regards, because Kang Dynasty in general was thrown away. So yes, Avengers Doomsday feels like calling an audible here, but maybe it was the audible, the smart audible to certainly have come up with. If you're taking over Spider-Man, it helps to have Tom Holland in your corner. This will be maybe like the last quote that I read, and then we'll move on to our next topic, because it is a long article. And if you guys want to check it out, it is on Screen Rant. Looking back in his history, Spider-Man movies, you'll find that Brand New Day breaks a pretty interesting streak. Sam Raimi directed all three Tobey Maguire movies. Andrew's two films were both by Mark Webb. And though Tom Holland's Web Slinger has appealed in multiple projects, John Watts had stewardship in his three previous solo titles. When Maguire and Garfield appeared in No Way Home, it appears kind of seal was broken. Now Cretton becomes the first filmmaker to take over a Spider-Man story already in progress. He says, it was definitely a bit worrisome when I first came in, stepping into a pre-established team who had been doing this for a very long time. Tom is clearly an expert on his Spider-Man, and it was the outsider coming into this family. Not only Tom, but the producers in the studios, they've been doing these movies for so long. He says, thankfully, this outsider was met with a surprising amount of collaborative spirit. In Tom Holland, Cretton found not only a willing performer, but a savvy creative voice. He says, I found Tom to have amazing ideas, but he's a true team player and he understands the writing process. He really understands the filmmaking process. Sometimes it's scary to bring an actor into the inner workings of what you're doing, because they can see how many mistakes you make to get to a good one and how many bad ideas it takes to get something cool. But having Tom in the writer's room, I quickly realized like he just gets it. He understands that the whole thing is a process, and he has a joy, and he was a joy to have. And first off, I love this comment about supporting Tom. This is why, I said this prior. I think Tom Holland is the quintessential Spider-Man for this era. Like, we can all love Tobey Maguire. We can all love Andrew Garfield. Like, Tobey Maguire was my Spider-Man for the longest time, and he probably still is. But I cannot stress enough that Tom Holland as Peter Parker and Spider-Man is just so fucking good. Like, he is such a good combination of the two. And now the fact that he's made a fourth movie as Spider-Man, which no other actor has done, has got to put him in the Hugh Jackman Wolverine, Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark kind of conversation, of like the quintessential Spider-Man that a lot of people are going to go down thinking this is the dude. And it's not just his performance, but it's clearly the idea of like what he also brings to the table behind the scenes. The fact that Destin Cretton loved working with him from a creative process, my man Tom Holland has gotten a lot better about not spoiling things in regards to his movies. But this just makes me continues to seal the deal for me that Tom Holland just knows this world, knows this Spider-Man. Even Zendaya in interviews talks about how much she really appreciates seeing Tom in this Spider-Man role, because he truly cares for the character, he truly cares for its fans, and he's really, from a creative standpoint, he really connects with the fans in regards to what they want. And while they may not necessarily give the fans everything, he's able to really work with Destin Daniel to really give us a new vision, new insight, especially a new chapter on the character, where he wants to take Spider-Man after his John Watts stuff. And he's definitely earned that right to be in the room when it comes to the creative process, or even negotiations when it comes to Marvel and Sony in regards to what they want to do with his particular character. He's definitely earned that right. So Destin has really been gifted a great opportunity here. I mean, not to say that he didn't work his ass off, because he did. Shang-Chi, Wonder Man, incredible work. He's earned this role. But not only does he earn this role, but Marvel Studios also gifts him with a powerhouse in Tom Holland, fresh off of an incredible John Watts trilogy that just gained over like nearly $2 billion in No Way Home also. And so while, yes, there is a lot of nervousness to kind of take over this mantle and have to do better than what came before, having somebody like Tom Holland on your team definitely makes that a little bit easier to certainly achieve. And so congratulations to these two for finding a creative process that really worked for the both of them, where they can really just pick each other's brains, make things work, and come up with one of the better Spider-Man movies. So yeah, man, I'm really excited. I'm really excited for him. I think Destin's going to be very busy over the next couple of years. If they do another Spider-Man trilogy in general, I can easily see him being the director kind of going forward for all three of those movies. He also was doing he's also doing another movie too, right? What was his other one? A Naruto live action movie he's going to be doing being the director for also. So great stuff, man. Again, I have not had the opportunity to see Spider-Man Brand New Day as of yet. Hopefully I could change that within the next couple of days or two, but I'm really excited. I've been trying to stay spoiler free as much as I possibly can, but if you ask me, I think they picked up an incredible director to start helming Spider-Man going forward, and we'll see how Spider-Man does. But I think it's going to be breaking some box office records already. Let me see. Spider-Man Brand New Day box office. I wonder if they have the official weekend numbers already on Box Office Mojo. God, that number can't be right, is it? That number can't be right. Bro, that number can't be right. Let me pull this up here for you. If this is the weekend, this is the weekend box office already, bro. Oh my God. Do you see that number? Domestically, one weekend, $355 million domestically, $572 million internationally, for a worldwide box office opening weekend. $927 million. This movie almost made $1 billion its opening weekend. Holy shit. That's crazy. Oh my God. Second best start ever at a box office. It's taken like 2 weeks for the Odyssey to get to $1 billion. And this movie literally just did this in a weekend. $927 million worldwide. The $355 million domestically in and of itself is crazy. Wow. No wonder I can't find fucking tickets anywhere. Like, bro, I kid you not. I find like an 11 p.m. showing for this sold out. Sold out. That's crazy. That's crazy. I've never seen it. Boy. I will be curious to see if Avengers Doomsday will make this type of money. I gotta think so, because the momentum for out of Spider-Man Brand New Day into Doomsday has got to carry. I mean, the momentum has carried, if you ask me. Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four did a little bit better than Thunderbolts at the box office, if I'm not mistaken. And now we've got Spider-Man Brand New Day that just bolstered all the way up to nearly $1 billion. Momentum is on Marvel Studios' side right now. Don't let anybody tell you any differently. But that's crazy. Congratulations, man. That's a monster fucking number. Like, that's a monster number. Like, Destin Daniel Cretton's career is now set for Spider-Man forever, or at least the next 2 Spider-Man films. That's crazy. Nathan says it could hit $2 billion. It could. It probably will. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't even know what No Way Home made its opening weekend, but that's a crazy number. My God. Kiki and Lucas says totally worth it to watch on a premiere screen. I saw Spider-Man twice on a regular screen and second time on Dolby. Dolby's way better. I've been trying to find a Dolby. In this area, and everything is just sold out. Like, everything is sold out all weekend long. It is so hard to find it. I love going to the Dolby theater. Like, if a movie is in IMAX, if it's filmed specifically for IMAX, I will always try and go to IMAX first. But if I can't, Dolby is always my go-to. Always my go-to. We got Fed in the house. Appreciate you coming through, Fed. Dolby is a Bueno theater experience. Supergirl twice on it, and I go to Spider-Man Brand New Day screening. Very nice. Fed says insane numbers. Yeah, it's insane numbers. Blossom says Spider-Man is a major league icon, man. Yeah, he really is. I mean, he's definitely Mount Rushmore of superheroes. Like, if you ask me, I think it's Mount Rushmore of superheroes is definitely the DC Trinity, and then Spider-Man. I just think I think that's it. Like, people just love them some Spider-Man, and the Spider-Man numbers since Homecoming have just been up and up and up and up, just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's one of those things that people trust Spider-Man movies. We've had 3 incredible Spider-Man films. I personally wasn't the biggest fan of Far From Home. It was an okay movie for me. Like, it was enjoyable for what it was. I think it's the weakest of the trilogy, but some people I know love them some Far From Home. But people know when you go to a Spider-Man movie, at least the past trilogy have been legit. Like, worth your money or worth your time, and so they're just going to keep coming back, and they put a lot of effort into making Spider-Man successful, and it pays off for them. That's crazy. Yeah, Blossom says with that type of money, yeah, that's definitely a record. Yeah, man, it's impressive. Yeah, you got Hulk in the movie, you got the Punisher in the movie, you got a lot of Easter eggs for fans of the comic book. Yeah, Destin Daniel Cretton is doing some amazing things right now. So let me know what you guys think of him as the director on Spider-Man. No spoilers, please, because I have not seen Spider-Man Brand New Day yet. But yeah, let me know if you're excited to see what he's going to do next for Spider-Man. All right. And I don't want to say last but not least, but you know what? I don't know why I had something posted on here, an image posted on here, but it's deleted for me. Um, Fed says Sony still has most ownership of Spider-Man, right? Yes, they do. And if I'm Sony, I'm not giving it up. I'm not giving up Spider-Man for anything. They own the rights. Um, I think, but they're teaming up with Marvel to do this. I think Marvel does the producing of it, but Sony is very much the distributor and things like that of it. But yeah, Sony still owns the Spider-Man rights. This is a collaboration. This is not a Marvel Studios project. This is a Sony picture. This is a Sony Pictures project in association with Marvel Studios. But Marvel definitely does a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to the Spider-Man movies, at least. Spider-Man villains and stuff, that's all Sony. But the Spider-Man movies themselves, it's more of a collaborative effort with MCU really taking the Marvel Studios really taking the helm. But from the MCU to the DCU, let's transfer over to the DCU now for you guys, as Booster Gold is in the news. A couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, I can't even remember. I felt like we talked about the idea that writer David Jenkins, winded up handing in his script for the pilot episode of the Booster Gold series. And when he put that information out, a lot of people were like, yes, this means we're getting closer to it actually happening. Well, this past week, we also got news that unfortunately, David Jenkins is no longer with the Booster Gold project. He came out and said that his pilot script was not accepted and that he was off of the project. And a lot of people assumed that meant the Booster Gold series itself was in fact canceled. That doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like Booster Gold, for the most part, is being revamped with a new creative team in mind. So even though David Jenkins' pilot script didn't necessarily go relatively well, there are insiders and sources inside saying that no, Booster Gold is still looking to happen, but maybe in a different direction. So let's go ahead and see what they're talking about here. This article actually comes to us from The Wrap. Booster Gold series to be revamped at DC with new creative team. This is an exclusive. It's been a rough couple of days for superhero fans. David Jenkins took to social media on Friday to announce that his take on Booster Gold would not be moving forward at DC Studios and HBO Max. The showrunner piggybacked off the comment of Mahershala Ali, lamenting that his long gestating Blade movie was dead in the water and that he has moved on. He says, "My Booster Gold won't be moving forward. Can't improve on Mahershala Ali's lovely statement, so I'll just apply it here as well." So he has officially moved on. However, the series is still moving forward at DC Studios with a new creative team. An actor has not been cast for the project either way. So I know that there was some speculation that was it Nanjiel? What was that? The guy from the Eternals. I can never pronounce his name correctly off the top of my head. Kumail Nanjiani. No, I'm completely butchering it, I'm sure. But apparently no actor is attached to this project as of right now, and that there is a new creative team going to be moving forward. The news just comes one day after Wonder Man has been shelved after being renewed for a second season. This is a sudden change for the series after Jenkins announced on June 15th that he had turned in his pilot script, calling it one of my favorite pilot scripts on BlueSky. Booster Gold was one of the first projects announced by James Gunn when he took over creative control. It's about a loser from the future who's using basic future technology to come back to today and pretend to be a superhero. It's basically imposter syndrome as a superhero. So there you go. So yeah, new creative team. There's no announcement in regards to who exactly is on board with this creative team, or the direction in which it's going to go. But look, it would not surprise me if within a couple of weeks or like next month this just gets shelved in general. But it's interesting in the fact that the more and more I think about it, I do think that this original slate that James Gunn revealed way too premature, like way too premature. Um, I think it's a lesson that unfortunately nobody learned from Kathleen Kennedy and all her Star Wars announcements in regards to just not being able to make things happen or come together in a timely manner. There's a lot of other projects that are not going to get the opportunity to happen, like The Authority. We're still waiting on Swamp Thing to happen. I think Swamp Thing is still a thing for James Mangold, but he just he just has an exclusive deal now with Paramount. So who knows how long it's going to take for him to even get back to Swamp Thing. We also had Waller that I think was announced. That's kind of like in developmental hell. And now Booster Gold seems to find itself in there also. I'm kind of hoping that the revitalization of Jolo Mataduena as Blue Beetle coming into live action for Man of Tomorrow kind of hints at the idea that Booster Gold has the opportunity to still be alive and well, but maybe going to different routes. Because when I think of Booster Gold, it's hard not to think of Blue Beetle also. And so I am kind of curious if, with maybe the buzz surrounding Blue Beetle coming back, maybe there's a more emphasis to kind of change what they had in mind for Booster Gold. Maybe they're going to go more of a duo route. Maybe they're going to go more of a Booster Gold Blue Beetle route as a duo instead of just as a individual launching point for Booster Gold. This is all speculation on my part. When you talk about the idea of Booster Gold series set to be revamped with a new creative team, do they still keep the same premise that was first introduced by James Gunn when he announced Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters? Or now that you've put Jolo Mataduena's name out there, returning for a Blue Beetle, and you've seen sort of the fan base sort of embrace that, does the solo Booster Gold now become a Booster Gold Blue Beetle thing? Now, I know Blue Beetle was supposed to have his own animated series. We haven't really heard anything from development, whether scripts are happening, how far into development that is. Is the animation even being worked on? Nobody's come in for voice work as of yet. So I do wonder what this revamping means. So this revamping could mean we still have plans for it, and we're going to bring in a new creative team and do something significantly different with it, or give it enough time and this series just doesn't get off the ground. So I will be kind of curious to see what direction that they go. I initially liked the idea of a Booster Gold series. I think Booster Gold, while still kind of a niche character, I think for the general audience, I think from a comic book standpoint, definitely has its fans, and Booster Gold definitely has its impact on the DC Comics. But if anything, it would worry me in the sense of, are we starting to get again into those James Gunn tropes of relying on B/C level characters and making them sort of that comedic aspect? Like, is this just going to feel like another Peacemaker show, right, where you've just got a unknown character for the general audience that cracks a lot of wise jokes, and it's just another comedic sort of live action series from the DCU? I would like to see something a little bit different, maybe a comedic duo of Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. Like, that would be like, if you're going to revamp it into anything, that's what I would like to see it revamped into. But it'll be interesting to see if this stays a solo project or if it turns into a duo project. And maybe they don't necessarily go for the comedic aspect, maybe more comedic / drama, thriller driven. I don't know. But we'll see how long Booster Gold continues to be revamped for before we actually get more concrete evidence. But it is hard to see what James Gunn first initially announced. So many of those projects really having a hard time getting off the ground. And I think we're in a place now where people are ready to embrace the A-list characters, in the sense of, we need Wonder Woman, we need Batman. It would be cool to have Booster Gold, but maybe Booster Gold can kind of wait a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see where Booster Gold lands in the future of the DCU, if at all. But I'm kind of curious to know what you guys think in that regards. Nathan says, I can hear it now. James Gunn will be writing Booster Gold. No, I don't need him to write Booster Gold. I really don't. I hope not. He's got his plate full already, for sure. He definitely has his plate full in that regards. If James would tackle Booster Gold, I wouldn't mind it at all because character is hilarious, totally on James' expertise. It really is, but that's one. I don't want to say that's one of the things that I worry about. Is I just want James to focus on Superman, like anything Superman related. That's what I need him to focus on. I don't need him to write anything else. Booster Gold having imposter syndrome, eh? Oh dear, says Blossom. I was never keen on him, but sure hope he deals with them. The imposter syndrome, I mean, is what she says. Brainiac's first image when in full costume. Did they drop that or something recently? I don't know, but we'll see. Did they drop that? Or is that something you're just saying? Oh no, I'm not seeing any new look at Brainiac. I thought it was like, oh, did breaking news drop? Oh, okay. Oh, anticipating it. Okay. I mean, freaked out. I was like, what did I miss? Oh no. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in regards to Booster Gold series being revamped. If it had to be revamped, what would you like to see it revamped into? Do you like the idea of a Booster Gold and Blue Beetle series? Do you think it should be in the comedic route? Do you even think we'll actually get the Blue Beetles, the Booster Gold series in general? Or do you think this is another project that eventually will find itself in developmental hell and just never get created? I definitely would love to know your guys' thoughts. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section box below. All right. Next up, we will stick in the world of Disney, but we're going to go from the MCU, not the DCU, but this time Lucasfilm, as Star Wars Visions presents The Ninth Jedi. The Ninth Jedi, I believe, is set to go ahead and debut this week. The Ninth Jedi release date. Let me see. Yeah, August 5th. All 8 episodes of this limited anime series is set to drop on Disney Plus and Hulu August 5th. So this upcoming Wednesday, you can definitely expect this new anime series. All 8 episodes set to drop. If you are new to The Ninth Jedi, they have had 2 episodes showcased, I believe, in Star Wars Visions Season 1 and Season 3, if I'm not mistaken. So go ahead and check them out if you haven't had the opportunity to do so as of yet. Those are like really great sort of layups and introductions to the characters. But could Star Wars Visions, the Ninth Jedi series, get a second season? That's really the big question that we're asking ourselves. It's set to go ahead and be just a limited series as of right now. But this article from Collider.com seems as though the creators have found themselves to be rather hopeful. So let's go ahead and dive into this. This is going to come to us from, oops, wrong button. Collider.com. With fascinating character choices, vibrant animation, and well-written characters, turning Ninth Jedi into its own series was a no-brainer. But is the upcoming series limited engagement or the start of another new chapter in Star Wars Galaxy? To find out, they were able to chat with the directors and the producers about the future of this series might look like. Kamiyama was first to speak up to definitively say that we don't want it to end here in regards to a second season of The Ninth Jedi. And Tada backed up his fellow director to say, we all hope for the character's journey to be continued. This is what they say. They say the story itself is set in the galaxy long after the Jedi Order disappeared. And then now with this series, Kara and the allies will become a new Jedi. So for episode 7 and 8 at the end of the series, we took a lot of time to create that scenario. And thanks to Lucasfilm, they were kindly waiting for us. Many production scales got a little bigger. So at the end of the writing, we had a lot of conversations and we had a lot of different possibilities. I know a lot of fans will question so many things, and fans love to see more, and we all love to keep going, but I'm looking forward to seeing how fans will react. So yeah, they're very hopeful that after their next couple of episodes, that after their first set of episodes, that maybe they will potentially get the opportunity to have more Star Wars visions, or at least more of the Ninth Jedi. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I hope so. I have look, as long as season 1 is enjoyable and really great, I don't see why we shouldn't get more Star Wars anime. I personally would love to see Star Wars Visions as a whole continue. And I would love to see the Ninth Jedi continue if it's good. Okay. I haven't had the opportunity to even see the series itself myself yet. So I'm keeping an open mind here. But as somebody who has appreciated Star Wars animation for what it is, I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting a little bit tired of the Clone Wars animation. But when it comes to like something like Darth Maul, the Maul series, Shadows of damn, I can't remember the name of the series now. But the Maul animated series, they really up their ante when it comes to animation style. So I do expect Star Wars animation to continue in some capacity, but I don't see why something like an anime series, especially something that doesn't necessarily connect canonically, or at least immediately, to the world of Star Wars that Star Wars animation already kind of focuses on. The fact that this is like thousands of years into kind of the future, I don't even know if they recognize this as canon. If I'm being honest with you, I might need to look that up a little bit. But to just kind of play in that world that's separate from anything else and really give us something original and fresh and new, I kind of like it. I kind of like it, and it's first off, I think Star Wars Visions is probably top 3, maybe top 4 or 5 in regards to great things that Disney has given us from a Star Wars and Lucasfilm perspective. Their ability to branch out and allow other creators to kind of have fun with these with new characters and kind of play into this world and create new lore and stuff, I think is all for the benefit of Star Wars. And so I don't think this hurts or dilutes the Star Wars brand. If anything, it just shows me that they have the ability to be very creative and take very big swings with this. So yeah, man, give me more Star Wars visions. Give me more Ninth Jedi. Again, as long as season 1 is pretty good, then I'll take it. I don't see why they shouldn't continue stuff like this if it's going to bring new viewers in and really appeal to current viewers as well. So we'll see what happens here. If Disney is going to pull a Marvel and be like, look, we're just going to start from scratch, pull all of our content, cancel this after its first limited series, maybe cancel Star Wars Visions to kind of start anew when it comes to this world. It'll be interesting to see what Dave Filoni has in mind. And I do expect D23 here. It is going to have a Disney focus. This might be the opportunity that Dave Filoni has to really leave an impact in regards to where Star Wars is going to go from here. Like I know that we have Star Wars Celebration next year, but D23, at least from a television perspective, I think would be really great to kind of see what Dave Filoni has in mind from a television and animation standpoint. I expect maybe some Ahsoka stuff to certainly be talked about at D23. I am curious if they'll even talk about Star Wars Starfighter yet, or if they're going to just have focus on their Disney Plus stuff. There are some rumors speculating right now that and I tend to believe this one, that Sam Witwer confirmed that the second season of Maul Shadow Lord will be released October this year. If Sam Witwer is actually saying this, first teaser comes out this month of August. If both of those are to be true, I expect that to be announced at D23. a second season in the same year that you dropped season 1 of Maul, yes, please. I would definitely take that. So maybe we get ourselves a first teaser at D23 with the revelation that, hey, this series is coming back in October. That would be a huge win if you ask me. And then maybe some Ahsoka stuff and maybe the future of what they do with Visions or more Tales of the Jedi, or, you know, whatever the case may be. I'm expecting some big announcements, to certainly say the least. But yeah, give me more Ninth Jedi, as long as this series works out well for its first season. But I'm kind of curious as to what you guys think about the anime series side of stuff for, you know, Star Wars Visions. Have you been big fans of it? Does it work for you? Does it not work for you? I definitely would love to know what you guys think. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section box below. I'm trying to find before I get into my next topic. I had images set to go, and then for some reason they're like, nope, we're not going to load these for you, Adam. So I don't know where the image that I had prepared went to. Let me see. I am going to get to some of you guys' comments here relatively quickly. Just give me 1 second. Did this thing share or not? Oh, there it is. Will this load for me? Damn it. That won't load for me either, huh? Why is it so hard to find an image that would work? Yeah, it's not pulling up for me. I'm sorry, guys. We still will talk about it, but it's not pulling up for me. This is the thing that I want. Fed with the $2.50. I don't know what that equivalates into dollars here in the US, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Bueno Hero reporting. Good news week. Yeah, I think today's news was pretty top notch, man. I appreciate you supporting the channel that way, Fed. We don't really have any sponsors here as of yet, so our growth is really dependent on you guys. So we definitely appreciate it for sure. Wouldn't be far-fetched if season 2 lands before year change. Talking about the Shadow Lord Maul series. I wonder why Star Wars anime isn't more popular. Well, I think for the most part it's relatively popular. I think people are happy with what they've been getting with Star Wars Visions. There might be like 1 or 2 other Star Wars Visions episodes that I personally would like to see turned into full-fledged limited series or limited series or full-time series in some capacity or another. But we'll see. And last but not least, we do have some Henry Cavill Warhammer news. It looks as though the Warhammer series or movie itself has just gained another writer. And we talked about this at the top when we talked about the Carrie series by Mike Flanagan. According to Screen Rant here, it says Mike Flanagan officially joins Henry Cavill's new Prime sci-fi series in massive writing update. I thought this was a movie. The long gestating Warhammer 4000 series has received a huge new update. The game, which is also known as Warhammer 40K, is produced by Games Workshop, is a miniature war game set in a distant future where the remaining dregs of humanity are under siege by supernatural and extraterrestrial threats. In 2022, Amazon MGM Studios acquired the rights to adapt the game. Henry Cavill is set to star in the upcoming series in addition to executive producing, though the project has been slow to come to fruition. In the latest annual report, they revealed that Warhammer 40K series has now been boarded by United Artists and Mike Flanagan. Flanagan has already completed outlines for the story and should soon be moving on to script. While their announcement indicated that this movie does not necessarily mean that the show will be debuting soon, as these adaptations will take years to bring successfully to market, it is a major step forward. While the company cannot share further details on the current status of the deal with Amazon, Henry Cavill is still involved in the project. Writer Mike Flanagan, best known for his work in the horror genre, like The Haunting of Hill House, Midnight Mass, The Fall of the House of Usher, as well as others, The Life of Chuck, Dr. Sleep, and the Carrie series. While he has proven himself to dab hand with literary adaptions, Flanagan has also had plenty of experience working on pre-existing multimedia franchises as well. However, joining Warhammer 4K series does nevertheless see him stepping out of his comfort zone. While the game does have horror elements, it is largely sci-fi focused. Flanagan has only infrequently dabbled in sci-fi. In fact, his only previous sci-fi project that featured it as a secondary genre, such as The Life of Chuck, if you will. Yeah, I think The Life of Chuck, because if it's a Stephen King novel, I definitely went into it expecting to be a horror. And while it's definitely not a horror, you can definitely see some maybe the horror elements included in it. But it doesn't feel like a horror, but it's still a really well told story. So, the idea of Mike Flanagan joining this is an interesting one to me. I think this is a big win, mind you, regardless if Mike Flanagan's career is mostly horror driven. I think he's a more than capable writer. Mike Flanagan also just wrote the recent DCU Studios Clayface movie that's being directed by James Watkins. I think they had a secondary writer come in and tighten up the script and maybe make adjustments here or there, but Mike Flanagan is the writer of the Clayface movie. He's got the Carrie series that we just talked about in honorable mentions, and now he's attaching himself to Warhammer. I definitely do expect the Warhammer series to certainly take a significant amount of time. The fact that outlines have been made, but not necessarily scripts. I don't believe that they have a showrunner for this series attached yet, so this feels still like an early development. With the intention of eventually being made. But Henry Cavill could not have asked for a better addition to his series than Mike Flanagan. I mean, maybe probably other writers out there would have loved that opportunity, but you tell me Mike Flanagan is working on the project and I'm immediately going to be taking notice to it. So it'll be fun to kind of see how he dabbles in the sci-fi elements, maybe bringing in some horror vibes a little bit here and there too. But Henry Cavill just scored a massive win of pushing his Warhammer series forward. I thought it was going to be a movie, honestly, but it looks like they're going the series route. But a big win for Warhammer, if you ask me here, in regards to its development. Kiki and Lucas say, I like everything Henry Cavill is in. Yeah, for the most part, it may, he may not necessarily blow me away all the time, but everything that I see him in is always rather enjoyable. Yeah, you and me too, Fed. I thought this was going to be a movie, but it looks like they're turning this into I thought maybe when it was first announced, it was announced as a movie, but maybe they decided to go the route of a television series itself. But we'll see. The idea of video games being turned into television series adaptions have been probably the more successful route. And so I'm eager to kind of see what they do with this. Henry Cavill plus Mike Flanagan, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts in that regards for that last story for us today. But with that out of the way, I think you know what time it is.
And now, everybody, it is time for live viewer questions.
And we're going to get into our live viewer questions portion of the show. If you ever want to submit a live viewer question, how do you go about doing that? Well, let me show you, shall we? So every Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, I will be dropping a post on our YouTube channel. So go over to our YouTube channel as you see right here. And again, every Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, click on that post tab. And voila, live viewer questions. We got 11 comments for you guys today. Well, let me sort this out by newest, and then we'll go ahead and tackle these one at a time. We got AJ the Morphing Grid here today. Ninja Storm was Moto Drone, an homage to Marvel's Green Goblin. In Ninja Storm episode Brothers in Arms, the Rangers meet their quirky new ally, a mechanic named Perry, who undergoes a botched technological transformation into the villain Moto Drone that mirrors Norman Osborn becoming the Green Goblin. But both characters wear hooded cloaks, utilizing advanced high-speed transport, with Moto Drone riding a perfect motorcycle instead of a flying board, and experience a dramatic dual identity struggle. However, while Osborn retains his memories and ultimately perishes, Perry suffers from a complete blackouts and is successfully separated from his alter ego before Motor Drone is independently rebuilt. Given the compelling narrative and visual parallels, was he intentionally designed as a direct homage to Marvel's iconic hero? You know, I'm going to say no there. Moto Drone. Let me see if I can find an image of him. Ninja Storm. Let's see if I can find an image. He is a mutant, mechanical, scorpion-like entity. He serves as the primary villain rivalry to Hunter. Let me see. Can I get an image of my man here? Oh. I see from first element, like from first image, I can see how that was like inspired a little bit by the Green Goblin. That's kind of terrifying. Maybe he was from a maybe like a costume design, but I don't necessarily know from a Green Goblin design. I wonder if he's ever talked about that. The people from Ninja Storm. I'm trying to see if there's any influence. He bears a striking resemblance, which has been noted by fans. While his design originated in Japan, the Western adaptation heavily mirrors the exact narrative archetypes of Marvel's iconic characters. Yeah, I think it's just a resemblance. I don't think they meant for that to be an exact replica. So I'm going to say no, but I can see why people would assume that though, or believe that for sure. We got Blossom in the house. What's up, Blossom? In the Neil Saban era, you think Dino Charge saved Power Rangers? Pretty amazing that they saved the franchise from being destroyed because of Super Mega Fail. Of all the cartoons we grew up as kids, which did you guys like the best? Did they inspire your imagination at all? So for the first, do you think Dino Charge saved Power Rangers? Yes, I do. Not to say that I think Power Rangers was ever going to like be canceled or anything like that, because of the fact that Saban just had so much power back then, had such a grasp on Nickelodeon at the time. So I don't think it was ever like going to be canceled or phased out. But I think from a fan base, I think Dino Charge really helped reinvigorate it. I actually found the storytelling for Dino Charge much better. I was a much bigger fan of the characters, the performances. Not that they were Oscar winning or anything like that, but the characters and the performers really made Dino Charge what it was, and made it a lot more fun for sure. I was a big fan of it. Of all the cartoons you grew up with as kids, which ones did you guys like the best? I was very much a He-Man and Thundercats type of guy growing up as a kid. Those are probably my two favorites. And then when you get into a little bit older, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, classic Ghostbusters, X-Men, Spider-Man, that whole run of like Fantastic Four and Iron Man and stuff, Incredible Hulk. I was always a big fan of those. Darkwing Duck, DuckTales, Tailspin, things like that. Captain Planet. But I think growing up as a kid, it was probably a lot of Thundercats for me. I was a really big Thundercats fan back in the day. Kiki and Luca, live viewer questions. Love you guys. Thanks for all you do. Well, I appreciate it, Kiki and Luca. Thank you so much. My friends call me Joseph. There are recent rumors that Disney is considering a new Home Alone film based off a script concept pitched by Macaulay Culkin. In this pitch, Kevin finds himself locked out of his own house and must figure out a way back inside. Have you heard about this? And what are your thoughts? Yeah, I think we highlighted it once here on the channel in regards to some of the ideas that Macaulay Culkin was on board with. I do remember that pitch, and I have heard that Macaulay Culkin is open to it. I think there was a recent report in regards to the idea that he might be re- open to returning to another Home Alone movie. So we'll see if that happens. But if it does happen, I'm a big fan of it. I think it would be great. I would love to see Kevin McAllister in that role as the parent now, having to deal with like, oh my God, what kind of shit did I give my parents as kids? You know, now with the the role reversal, I love that. And I think Macaulay Culkin's got such a really cool creative mind that he knows like what will work from a movie standpoint. Because I don't think he will just come back for anything. And so if there is a Home Alone movie in the works, and we come to find out Macaulay Culkin is attached to it, I think it's probably a good script for sure. Zachary Morrison. What's up, Zach? What are your thoughts on the Justice League Snyder Cut today? Given its initial release, do you view it as a definitive version compared to the widely panned theatrical release? It's been a long time since I watched the Justice League Snyder Cut. I do want to go back and revisit it. But I do view it as the definitive version. Like if I'm going to watch any Justice League movie, it's going to be that one. I'm not even going to watch the Josh Whedon one. If anything, I'll watch I'll watch Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, and then BVS the extended edition, mind you, the extended edition, not the theatrical edition, the extended edition, Wonder Woman, and then Justice League Snyder Cut. When I watched it, I'm gonna be honest, when I watched it, I loved it. I loved it. It was on par for me, and this is probably going to be blasphemous for some people. It was on par for me with the first Avengers movie in regards to, I thought it was a great film in regards to bringing characters together and forming them as a team. From a story standpoint, it really worked for me. I found it on par with that of the first Avengers movie. And so I hold it up there in high regards. I am a fan of the Snyder DC EU stuff. I was a supporter of release the Snyder Cut, but once the Snyder fan base just went off the rails and became very cultish, I immediately jumped off board. Like I am a little bit more open-minded in that regards. Like, look, Snyder, it was unfortunate what happened with Snyder and his family and the way that WB kind of pushed him out and was very reactionary. But I ultimately got the Snyder stuff that I wanted. Would I have loved to have seen him continue on? Absolutely. But I do believe like after Justice League, I could easily just wrap up that story and move on. And I've got no problem with new creators, new visions, Warner Brothers wanting to go ahead and go into a completely different route with James Gunn. Like I'm not crazy in that regard, but there are some Snyder cultists out there that just will not do anything DC related if it's not Snyder. And that's just, it's almost like their brains have not developed past a certain age maturity. And it's sad to see what happened, but I am a supporter of the Snyder stuff. I'm while I'm critical of it, I'm not as critical as a lot of other people. I still think Man of Steel is a better movie than the James Gunn Superman. I'm sorry. It may not be the better Superman movie, but I think from a cinematic movie construct, I think Man of Steel is a better film. But Superman is probably a better Superman movie, if that makes any sense. I think the director, the extended cut of BVS works a lot better from a storyline and plot standpoint in regards to making it all really make sense and flow a little bit better than what we did with the theatrical standpoint. And I just think the Justice League cut for Snyder, the director's cut, is the better film out of his and Josh Whedon's. And Wonder Woman was just incredible. So I've got no qualms with the Snyder stuff of the DCU like other people's do. I'm probably very much an outsider looking in that regards, and I'm perfectly okay with that. But I am perfectly okay also with James Gunn having his own vision and doing something else with Justice League. But yeah, I hold that Snyder cut in high regards. Marco Parco, what's up, Marco Parco? With many legacy MCU characters returning for Doomsday, it makes me wonder if Doctor Doom will reveal his face to completely shock the former Avengers when they realize who they are fighting. You know, that's a good question. I am curious. I expect it to be revealed in Doomsday at some point in time. I just don't know if that's something that they're holding off for the very end of it, because we have seen from the trailer alone Thor going up against Doomsday and having no idea who my man is. And so I am kind of curious as to when he reveals himself, who he reveals himself to, but I do think that it will in fact be revealed in Doomsday. I don't think they're necessarily going to wait for that when it comes to Secret Wars. I think it may be in the final act of Doomsday is when that reveal will in fact happen. Yusef Omar, I will maybe we get to see his face earlier. Like I can easily see Dr. Doom in this movie maybe being with his own stable, his own cohorts, whoever is working alongside with him. I can see him maybe revealing his face to them and walking around, us being able to see his mangled face. But anytime he's like, so us as a viewer know who he is, but the Avengers not knowing. And so anytime he comes into conflict with anybody from the Avengers or X-Men, he's like fully covered. But then that reveal to that team, I think will certainly happen. And I think he's going to use it to his benefit. I think he knows who he looks like and will utilize that to his advantage in this movie. But I think that's a final act reveal to the Avengers. Yusef says in 1985, Eddie Murphy made one of the biggest hits in the decade because Richard Pryor bet him $100,000 he could not sing, but then he did prove he could. Pryor didn't pay him. One of the classic stories behind the scene bets between famous legends are you curious about? Oh God, Yusef, that might be a little bit out of my reach. I'm not too familiar with anything like that. Behind the scene bets. Let me see. Behind the scene bets in Hollywood movies. Here's a couple of them. Well, I got two of them right here just from Googling it. Iconic onset wagers. Oh, it says end debts. Okay. So the whole 9 yards from the year 2000, Matthew Perry bet co-star Bruce Willis that their comedy would open at #1. Willis lost and had to guest star on Friends for free, eventually winning an Emmy and donating his union minimum salary to charity. That's first off, that's a crazy. I didn't know that. I did not know that. So Matthew Perry bet co-star Bruce Willis that his comedy would open to #1. It failed, and that's why we got Willis on Friends. The fact that it was for free too is crazy to me because Friends was huge back in the day. But that's crazy that's how they landed that guest star on Friends. It was like wasn't it like a 2-3 episode sort of cameo too? Wow. That's crazy. There was another one here, but that's not as funny if I'm being honest. It's not as good. But so yeah, that's the one I'll go with then because I'm not too familiar with that. But that's a crazy bet. Jessica Friedman, you think we can get another Simpsons Futurama crossover someday? And Stuart, this question is for you. Have you seen the 3rd season of My Adventures with Superman? And what are your thoughts? I'm gonna have him answer that question for you next time or next weekend, Jessica. I apologize. If you can remember, Jessica, just copy and paste this for next week's episode because he's not here today, so I do apologize. Marcus Shriver, what are your thoughts on the company, Sony specifically PlayStation, on completely abandoning physical discs? Do you think other companies will follow suit? I heard Microsoft may continue releasing future games via discs for the GameCube. I own a pre-owned PlayStation 3 from my local GameStop. You know what's crazy? Because of this news, it did have me go back into my closet because my brother Corey, he's about 10 years younger than me, currently lives in Japan, who's a big gamer, probably is still a big gamer. I've kind of fallen off of gaming over the past maybe 5 to 10 years or so. My Xbox One just stopped working on me, unfortunately, after years, and we don't have a working console in the household. But I did remember my brother, before he moved to Japan, left me all of his video game consoles that he had. So I am missing some pieces though here and there. Like, we got a GameCube that I think I can make function, but we don't have any remote controls. I think we might have 1 or 2 or 3 GameCube games, but I don't have the controllers for the GameCube. We've got a PlayStation 2, but I think the PlayStation 2 is missing either the HDMI connection to the television. It's missing something, I can't remember. But I do believe we got a fully functioning PlayStation 3, which I want to go ahead and set up. And we got a couple of we got quite a few PlayStation 3 games, honestly. But I do think the announcement is a bit of a bummer. I think this is another important reason for if there is something that you love that you want to own, physical media is so important these days. It feels very much like people are trying to go more digital route, kind of be able to control what you can and can't purchase, or what you can or can't play at some particular point in time. Sometimes there are movies that you want to watch that are just not on streaming, just not available. That, you know, these studios and companies have the ability to put on streaming and take off streaming whenever they certainly don't want to, maybe in an attempt to not have to pay the writers or royalties or subsidies to people that worked on those projects. So it's another reason why I find myself wanting to get back into buying Blu-rays and buying discs and stuff of my favorite movies out there, because at some point in time, everything will be digital, and the movies that you'll want to watch, you're just not going to be able to watch whenever you want to. Same thing goes for gaming. You know, I will say, there's a part of me that wants to say the backlash towards PlayStation in regards to this will make other companies start to second guess themselves. But at this point, I'm starting to think that most companies, especially if they're, you know, billion-dollar companies, if they just care less and less and less what the consumer thinks and just what they think will benefit them in the long run and their shareholders. So, you know, it would not surprise me if Microsoft and other companies started eventually coming out and be like, yeah, we're just not going to do physical media anymore. We're just going to solely focus on that, but on digital stuff. But I'm hoping that the ferocity in which people shit all over PlayStation for this very decision, I hope opens the eyes of other companies and realize this is probably a terrible direction to go. People may not necessarily buy our stuff. I already think that from a console standpoint, they're already making consoles like a societal benchmark in regards to what your status is in the world. I mean, the fact that I got to pay $600 to $700 for a video game console is like, I almost need to be on a different pay bracket, a different societal bracket in order to even afford this stuff. So now I got to pay you $600 to $700 just for a console, and I can't even buy the physical media to own for myself. I got to buy a digital copy so that if you eventually want to go on and make another console down the road, but you don't want to make that game compatible with it, you just pull it from the digital market. What am I going to play? Like, I can't play my stuff anymore. So I just think that that's a really terrible decision. They're making things already unaffordable for people. One of the reasons why I'm going back to more retro gaming now, because it's something I can own and actually afford, because the stuff is just getting too out of reach. So, maybe PlayStation is just trying to become like elite status for video gamers. And maybe that's why they're going the direction that they're going in. But I think it's I think it's a terrible idea. And I hope other people pay attention to it. Alex Ramirez, what do you think of the casting rumors of the actress Indy Navarrete could play the new Mystique for the MCU? When it comes to the past installment for the live-action X-Men films, who do you prefer as Mystique, Rebecca Romijn or Jennifer Lawrence? Would you like to see either of them return? If one of them does end up coming back, please don't say any. If Would you like to see either of them return? If one of them does end up coming back, please don't say anything regarding who. I don't know what that means, but we already know who's coming back, at least for Avengers Doomsday. We have seen the trailer already for Avengers Doomsday. The teaser itself does show Mystique, and the Mystique that's back is the Rebecca Romijn. It's not Jennifer Lawrence in that capacity. Who did I prefer? I did like Jennifer Lawrence very early on. I did like her in the role as Mystique. I don't necessarily know if I like the way that they utilized her in regards to making her such a forefront. I get that they did that because it is in fact Jennifer Lawrence, but it felt a little bit out of place and them really kind of just taking their own liberties, which is fine. But I think from a performance an acting standpoint, Jennifer Lawrence really worked for me, at least for like the first two movies. But after that, I didn't really necessarily care for the character so much. I don't know who Indy should be. I don't know if I see her as Mystique or not. But I do think you can put Indy in any role, and I think she'll certainly thrive. Again, that is certainly just a rumor. I'm not expecting her to come out and play Mystique, but if they were to announce it, I would be like, okay, maybe not necessarily the first person that comes to mind, but I also don't know who I would put in that role for Mystique, if I'm being honest. So it's really like a wait and see for me in regards to how she eventually winds up being utilized in here. Like, I guess my thing would be with Mystique, isn't Mystique the mother of isn't she the mother of Rogue and Nightcrawler? Let me see. Who is Mystique the mother to in X-Men? Mystique is the biological mother for Nightcrawler. And she's the adoptive mother of Rogue. So immediately right there, I need my Mystique to be older, right? Like if we're going to go with the Kaylee Spaney as Rogue, if that's to be true, right? Kaylee Spaney age, how old is she? She's 28 years old. So I immediately need my Mystique to be old enough to have given birth to this girl. Okay. Not to say that, not to say that Kaylee Spaney is going to be playing a 28-year-old Rogue, but if she is the adoptive mother of Rogue from the comics, and she's also the mother to somebody like a Nightcrawler, I'm sorry, Indy, but the role is just not for you, right? Maybe they can take liberties in the MCU and not have that connectivity, but I think that would be a mistake on their part. But I would need my Mystique to be immediately older. So I don't believe the rumors when it says Indy Navarrete is going to be Mystique, because I would need my Mystique to be slightly older than that. Not to be super old, but in her 40s at least, maybe late 30s. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I think that does it for all of our live viewer questions. There are a couple comments though. I will go through. Let me refresh this just to make sure that I got everybody's comments in time. Oh, there were 12 comments. Last time there was 11. Did we get a last minute one? Oh, Fed says testing stuff. Hey, yeah, the testing worked, Fed. So yeah, just so you know. So yeah, every Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, definitely check the YouTube channel. See if we've posted a live viewer question. and you can submit them over during that time. And if you happen to miss it, you can always submit it over while we're doing the show live as well. But that will do it for our live viewer questions. But I will take some comments. Looks like I had a lot of comments while we were going through this. Let's see here. Pexy says, my question didn't go through today that I submitted last night. Okay, so I just resubmitted it just now. Still didn't work. Hey, Adam, I just emailed you my email. Okay, let me go ahead and pull up his email so I can give Peg C some love here also. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't work for you, Peg C. I apologize about that. But yeah, live viewer questions from Peg C over at our email address at A+opinions at gmail.com, A+opinions at gmail.com. Screen Rant published an article of 5 biggest stories X-Men 97 can adapt for season 3 and season 4. What are your thoughts? So number 5 being Planet X, Grant Morrison's legendary run on his X-Men, new X-Men, culminated in the Planet X story, where they revealed that the mysterious new X-Men Zorn was actually Magneto, who had infiltrated the X-Men to enact a master plan to reinvent. Ooh, that would be interesting, especially based off of what happened with Magneto in this series. House of M, there's no story bigger than the House of M. That would be an interesting one also. I can see that. I could see that. X-Men Messiah Complex, Messiah War, and Second Coming. I think I might have it says if they were to adapt House of M, it would only make sense to adapt X-Men Messiah Complex. I'm not too familiar with that series or that storyline. Avengers versus X-Men. I mean, we have seen Scarlet Witch. We have seen Black Widow and Captain America in this series so far. So Avengers versus X-Men would be cool, especially the fact that we are getting a Avengers versus X-Men versus Fantastic Four kind of story in Avengers Doomsday a little bit. What route could they potentially go? I would be down for that. Onslaught is one way they can go. Access is another one. The Krakoan Age. Maybe that would be like the last season that they can kind of tackle the Krakoan Age a little bit. I mean, look, they talk about the idea of like really wanting to have 10 seasons of X-Men 97. So we'll see if they even get to 10. Black Panther, your next question says Black Panther had an animated series on BET in January of 2010, but it only had 6 episodes. Would you want to see it revived on Disney Plus? No. Maybe if they wanted to do more like Eyes of Wakanda, maybe they can kind of go that route in regards to animation for the Black Panther side of things. But I would like my Black Panther to continue to stay live action, especially now that you've brought on David Johnson, a younger up-and-coming rising star in Hollywood. You want to utilize him in a live action form for as long as you possibly can. So maybe if they eventually get to like a actual reboot of the MCU or something like that, maybe you can bring David Johnson over to do the voice work for Black Panther. But as far as the immediate future goes, no, keep my Black Panther live action, unless they want to do another season 2 of like Wakanda, Eyes of Wakanda or something like that. Have you watched the movie The Sandlot? The Sandlot is returning for a new comedy series, is reuniting for a new comedy series called Dugout Dads, starring Patrick Rena and featuring Danielle Fishel. Premise: an idealistic father volunteers to coach his kids' little league team, only to realize the most unruly people on the field are the parents and other coaches. What are your thoughts, and have you watched The Sandlot? Yeah, I watched The Sandlot on repeat for years. It is still a fantastic movie that holds up really well to this day and age. Forever. I still think of the pool scene when homeboy tries to kiss the girl after getting CPR. I used to be a big fan of the cool kid. You know, what was his I can never remember his name now off the top of my head, that went on to eventually be in the major leagues and stuff. I used to want to be him so badly. Like, man, I wish I was so good at baseball like that kid all the time. Used to be so jealous of him, but he was always really great in that movie. James Earl Jones, why didn't you just knock on the door? Like, why didn't you just come over and ask for it, kid? Like all this time, they could have just gone next door. It is a classic. It is a classic. It is something I eventually will watch with my son. But it just captures, I think, the love of baseball so incredibly well, especially that I used to have as a kid. So I had never heard of Dugout Dads, but if it is meant to be sort of like, oh, it says The Sandlot is reuniting for a new comedy series. I wonder if it's from the world of The Sandlot, like a sequel series to it or not, or if it's just those characters, those actors from The Sandlot kind of playing dads or coaches in this particular world. But yeah, play ball. Let's go, baby. Thank you for the questions, Pegsy. Blossom says you had me at Captain Planet. Yeah. That's 11 some Captain Planet, man. Kiki and Lucas says I wanted to see Dark Side. Oh yeah, in the Justice League Zack Snyder's cut. Yeah. Did we get a little bit more Dark Side in that? I can't remember off the top of my head, but I felt the stakes were definitely raised a little bit more in the Snyder cut for Justice League. But yeah, I am bummed that we never got to that point of like a direct battle of Dark Side. Kiki and Luca with the super chat. Thank you so much, Kiki and Luca. I really appreciate it. Love live viewer questions. Yeah, I love this. I love this section too. Kiki and Luca says, I like Cavill's Superman better than Gunn's Superman, hands down. Not even close in my opinion. Really. I felt like I was kind of like alone on that island, if I'm being honest with you. I like David, like if we're talking Superman actors, I do love Henry Cavill as Superman. I really do. But I think David Corenswet is a marvelous Superman. Like I even seeing him in Supergirl, anytime he was on screen, I was just like, this is my Superman right now. Like I really love David Corenswet as Superman. But again, if we're talking like just movies, and I could probably have a debate with somebody in this regards. I'm sure Stuart listening to me say this is probably throwing stuff at his computer screen right now, but I'm just talking movie, like from just a movie cinematic experience, like as far as everything coming together, I still think Man of Steel is the better film. But if we're talking about Superman as like just a Superman movie, not just a traditional movie, but a Superman movie, Superman may be the better of the two. But if I'm talking like just, I can watch Man of Steel on replay like over and over and over again. And like every time I watch Man of Steel, it just gets better and better for me. And I know that's not a popular opinion, but it's my truth. I gotta speak to it for sure. Yeah, Fed says, opposite from me because Zach didn't create the comic book accurate Superman portrayal. I like dorky, heroic Superman from comics, and that's super fair. That's super fair. I think what I appreciated about Zack Snyder's Superman was that the bigger than life sort of mythological god kind of way that he showcased him, bigger than life, as strong as they come. I really appreciated that Superman's mindset of not necessarily being well received and trying to figure out if humanity is ready for that type of power to be introduced among them. And I thought Snyder handled that sort of really, really well for me. So that bigger than life mythological being, I think, is the route that Snyder kind of went. But James Gunn went a little bit more comic accurate in regards to him being more heroic for the people sort of thing. I don't think anything's wrong with that. Like you said, it is all subjective, of course. That's the wonderful thing about movies. Every director will come in with their vision of him. And while, yes, the Man of Steel may not necessarily be comic accurate, I'm okay with them kind of taking some liberties in regards to really diving into what felt more like an Alex Ross, just bigger than life, a worshiping of him sort of mentality. So yeah. But yeah, to each their own. I don't got a problem with anybody that loves either all of them. I think we can all live in society and accept accept each other just for having different tastes. But I like the route that things were going. Nathan says, Adam, whenever you see the new Jumanji trailer, you can clearly see Dwayne Johnson's weight loss after being so huge in the Smashing Machine, slightly jarring for me. Yeah, I remember seeing him fresh off of the Smashing Machine when he lost weight, and for a second there, I was like, "Is my man sick? Like, does he got something? Like, is his health like just rapidly like decreasing, sort of thing?" I mean, it was really startling to see shots of Dwayne The Rock Johnson being so skinny, or just like, just devoid of like body mass after something like the Smashing Machine. But maybe his body needed a hard reset. And I'm hoping he's treating himself a little bit better. But I haven't seen the trailer for Jumanji to see what his new look is like. But I'm hoping that he's treating his body well, at least. I'm sure the Smashing Machine deserved took a lot out of him. Fed says Dwayne deserves more praise for his biopic movie, his MMA biopic movie. I didn't go see Moana live action in theaters, but we'll buy it as a gift from my brother. Yeah, he definitely deserved praise for like the picture itself. The movie itself was okay, but his performance was gnarly. Like, I was really impressed with his performance, and it's a shame that more people didn't get the opportunity to see it. But his performance alone is what made me enjoy that film. Kiki and Lucas says Indy deserves an Oscar nomination for Obsession. She absolutely does deserve an Oscar nomination. Like, I can see Obsession being nominated for Best Picture this year, along with Indy being nominated for Best Actress. If she doesn't get nominated, it will definitely be it'll definitely be just atrocious, if you ask me. Like, if Amy Madigan can be nominated and win a supporting actress award for what she did as Gladys in Weapons, there's no reason why Indy Never Ready shouldn't be nominated or even win. Now, I will say at least nominated, because there are a lot of great performances out there, I think, this year, but she should definitely be nominated at least. Whether or not she wins, we'll have to see what her competition is certainly going to be. But if Amy Madigan is going to be nominated for Weapons, there's no reason why Indy shouldn't be nominated for what she did in Obsession, because I think it's even a better performance than what Amy Madigan did as Gladys. But that's just me. Kiki and Lucas says Nightcrawler, the German guy. Yes, Nightcrawler, that guy. Kiki and Lucas says Cooper Hoffman has been linked to Cyclops, though he denies it. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of rumors going around, which is why we wanted to emphasize that Emma Frost as Samara Weaving is definitely official. The Cali Spaney stuff as Rogue, a lot of people are really pushing that she's talked to Jack Schneider and sort of like leapfrog Odessa to land that role. We'll see if that's true. I still get Kitty Pryde energy out of Cali Spaney, and I think that's a great role for her. The Rogue one, her as Rogue, I still feel it's Anna Paquin 2.0. Like, they could potentially ruin Rogue for me, because she doesn't line up with what I envision for something out of X-Men 97 as a powerhouse, or the X-Men series in general. But if she does win the Rogue casting, it might be the one casting that I don't care for that much, but I definitely will give them the opportunity to really prove me wrong in that regards. Like, I got no problem in being wrong. I just need to see it first. Kiki and Lucas says sports parents are nuts. Yeah, absolutely. I hope I don't become one of those when my kid eventually gets into sports, if he gets into sports. Nathan says we've had 3 Black Panthers. I want T'Challa back. That's the Black Panther. Could you imagine a Batman movie without Bruce Wayne? Yeah, that would be kind of crazy. Look, I feel a little bit. I feel like this is such a touchy subject for so many people. Like I've really kept myself separated from the Black Panther discourse. I might have mentioned maybe like one comment on it, but I've really kind of left it alone. It's just such a touchy subject, especially with the passing of Chadwick Boseman. T'Challa is Black Panther. We've seen other characters come in and out of other characters like Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, right? They're all Peter Parker, Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne. It's not like they've changed who that main character certainly is, right? The unfortunate passing of Chadwick, I think, really made things not easy. Maybe people would have just easily accepted a multiversal new Black Panther as long as it was T'Challa still, right? I don't remember I wish I could remember the chronological way how things happened in regards to the passing of Chadwick. Where was the MCU at when it comes to the multiverse at that time? During the timing of having to start setting up for something like a Black Panther 2. The idea of Shuri becoming the Black Panther never bothered me. Like, I got no qualms with people that want T'Challa to be the quintessential Black Panther and you just recast and make T'Challa. I think that's just such a touchy subject for some people to want to put their finger on. But one of the things that I will say that I've come to appreciate with what they've been able to do with the Black Panther movies is there is something special, even more special now, I think, about the passing down of that mantle compared to other mantles being passed down to. Like, there is a part of in the movies and even in the comics, that mantle has been passed down before. It's been passed down for generations prior to that. Eyes of Wakanda is even another perfect example of that, of the passing of this Black Panther mantle. So it's not like they're just doing this out of nothing and just coming up with it, right? I know in the comic books, the quintessential Black Panther has always been T'Challa for us. But even in the comics, at some point in time, the Black Panther mantle does get passed down to other people that are not T'Challa. So the idea of them going that route in regards to the MCU, I don't think it's not true to who Black Panther is. I think it's true to the Black Panther legacy overall. T'Challa may just be the most impactful Black Panther that we've had in the comic books, but he's by no means the only Black Panther that we've had in the that we've had in general. And so I do think that there is part of Marvel Studios that is being true to the character and true to the mantle of Black Panther, just maybe not in the way that most people would want, right? I mean, people think of Black Panther, they think of T'Challa, marrying Storm, they think of that impact and that relationship. They think of T'Challa and Namor, the Submariner, and his squabbles with Atlantis, and they think of T'Challa as a Black Panther on the Illuminati, right? Like that's T'Challa in all of those situations. But I do think that the death of Chadwick Boseman has forced Marvel Studios to maybe go in a different direction that some people aren't necessarily happy with. But again, I would say is still true to the Black Panther mantle itself. And I think because of the passing of Chadwick Boseman, to me, and this is just to me, it has made the passing down of that mantle mean something even more, something that's even more emotional for me, because not only do I think of T'Challa, but I also think now of Chadwick Boseman and his teachings and his life lessons and the influence and his impact that he's had not only in acting and in Hollywood, but the people around him, and how he's only impacted people for good. And I think Chadwick Boseman's personality traits have influenced who T'Challa is as the Black Panther on the big screen. And so when you pass that mantle down to Shuri, it's not just the T'Challa history, it's also the Chadwick Boseman history now. And some people may find that some people may have a problem with that, because Chadwick Boseman is not T'Challa, right? Like that, it's a human actor and it's a character. But because of what happened with Chadwick Boseman, that inherently has now fallen on the shoulders of who Black Panther is. And the fact that they've been able to take T'Challa's story and make Black Panther 2 a story about the passing down of the mantle and the grief that Shuri has had to experience, and being alone and not having her brother there to kind of teach her. And then the revelation of what comes at the end of Wakanda 2 with T'Challa Jr. Now having that mantle passed on to T'Challa's son and everything that came before that, Shuri's growth, Shuri's lessons, the lessons that she learns from her brother, the lessons that T'Challa learned from the first one, all of that is now getting passed down into T'Challa's son. And I think that makes the passing of this mantle, I think, that much more importance, because I think David Johnson, who's now the Black Panther, I'm under the impression that he also understands that it's not just a Black Panther mantle that he's got to carry around with him. He also has to carry around the mantle of Chadwick Boseman. And that might be unfair for some people, and that not be true to the comic books. But I think the passing of Chadwick has changed the narrative here. And I think Chadwick has made Black Panther an even bigger character than, I don't want to say T'Challa on his own, because he was already that impactful, but we have now somehow merged the two. And I find the passing 3 Black Panthers and 3 different movies, all carrying around the legacy and the lessons built up for us in Civil War in the Black Panther film. I think that makes that Black Panther character that much more important and that much more emotionally impactful than some of the other mantles that have certainly been passed down to. Or at least I should say, I think Ryan Coogler has handled the passing down of that mantle with grace and great attention to detail for these characters, and say something like how Marvel Studios has handled the passing down of the Captain America shield to Sam Wilson, and maybe not allowing Sam Wilson to really have his true day. Like I think the peak of Sam Wilson's Captain America was the Falcon and Winter Soldier television series, where I think it's the best Sam Wilson story that they have certainly told, and have made me realize why he's Captain America and earn that Captain America right. But I think the passing down of the Black Panther mantle is one of the more emotional and T'Challa and Chadwick Boseman focused passing of the mantles that we've had. So it may not work for everybody, and I don't want to crap on anybody that feels some type of way about how Nathan feels about it in regards to T'Challa is the Black Panther. I'm not going to argue with anybody that feels that way. but I do think that this is one of those situations that is bigger than that has become bigger than just T'Challa himself, whether that's wrongly or rightly deserved. I think it's become bigger than just the Black Panther character. Maybe it's been hijacked. I don't know how people want to feel about that, but I do think there is something unique and different about 3 different Black Panthers in 3 Black Panther movies. But I think if I take a step back and I got to see what Ryan Coogler does with a 3rd one, I think that this trilogy could be really impactful in what it says and what it speaks to the idea of teachings and learnings being passed down from generation to generation. And it'll be even more impactful to kind of see how T'Challa Jr. even views his own father in that light, with his father not being around. So I think there's a lot of density in regards to character work and exploration of feelings and emotions that can really be taken away once we get into something like Black Panther 3 that I think Ryan Coogler will really work towards. But that's probably all I got to say in regards to the Black Panther stuff. But it is what it is, you know, in that regards. Yeah, Fed says Damson Idri would have rocked as Black Panther. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I do like Damson for sure. But I also really love I really love David Johnson. I really love David Johnson too. He's no sling. But all right, guys. Damson is good on the Romulus. I brought the long. Oh, I think you mean oh yeah, David Johnson. He means David Johnson in that regards. Yeah, for sure. He says you may be a Ryan Coogler fan, not a T'Challa fan. That could be true. That could be true too. I'm not gonna say that. I'm you know, I appreciate the Black Panther from the comics. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I was a big reader of a lot of Black Panther comics. I did appreciate always his impact when it comes to his time on the Avengers. I always appreciated that. But I never really read a lot of Black Panther solo stuff. So that could be a part of it too. That could be a part of it too. But yeah, that's just my point of view though. You know, it's whatever they decide. But like I said, I'm open-minded enough to understand that people are not going to be okay with that. And to each their own for sure. But guys, that will do it for today's episode of A+ Hero Report. We definitely will be back next weekend, guys, so certainly stay tuned. The Force Report return is inevitable. It's almost here. We've got all 8 episodes dropping for the 9th Jedi on Wednesday the 5th. We may not be back for the Force Report this week. Because if it's 8 episodes, I want to give the entire council some time to watch all 8 episodes. So I'm going to go and get together with everybody and see what day works best for them, not this week, but the following week, to bring back the return of the Force Report. And I'm hoping after that, it can be a bi-weekly show for you guys where we talk everything Star Wars related. So expect the Force Report back at least within 2 weeks to talk about the 9th Jedi. And maybe we'll do a special show also the week after we talk about D23 and any big sort of Star Wars announcements that might come out of that. As for Hero Report, we will be doing a live reaction to the Disney Entertainment Showcase panel on Friday night, August 14th. So if you enjoyed something like our San Diego Comic-Con live recaps at night, you may enjoy our live reaction to D23's Disney Entertainment Showcase. So join us Friday the 14th for that in the evening. But other than that, if anything, maybe I'll take some clips from today's show, post them as shorts throughout the rest of the week. If you want to follow us on TikTok, you can follow us on TikTok at Hero Report. Anywhere else on social media, pretty much at A+ Opinions, especially our Facebook page. I think our Twitter handle is now A+ Hero Report. So if you want to find us on Twitter, it's at A+ Hero Report. But everywhere else on social media, at A Plus Opinions. Our Facebook page is I think it just cracked 4,700 followers. We continue to grow at a rapid pace over on our Facebook page. It's a great aggregator of nerd news all throughout the week. If you're looking to be kept up to date on any big stories, the Facebook page is certainly the place to go. So like us over there, follow us over there. And if you haven't followed us on YouTube yet, hit the subscribe button, click the bell notification. And throughout the week, if there's any big news or big trailers that we feel need the opportunity to be talked about, we'll drop individual videos for you guys. But we are looking forward to talking about the 9th Jedi. And there was another series that's set to begin relatively soon too. Oh, Lanterns. I didn't pull up the image, but Lanterns, I believe, hold on one second. Lanterns release date. We will be doing live reactions to Lanterns. Lanterns begins August 16th. That's a Sunday. Lanterns will be dropping on August 16th, and then Tuesday, live every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Central Time. So on the 18th, so 2 days after the episode drops, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time, we will be doing live reviews for you guys. It's probably just going to be myself. Maybe I can get somebody else on board with me. We'll see. But yeah, definitely expect weekly live reviews for Lanterns beginning August 18. So a lot of great stuff certainly coming your way, guys. If anything, if you want to support the channel, live chats, hype up this video. We continue to grow on a regular basis because of you guys. Clip these videos, save these videos, share it with everybody, let people know about Hero Report. If you love what we're doing here, we definitely appreciate it. But other than that, we'll certainly see you guys next weekend. And until then, do me a big favor, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.